Hello, everybody, and welcome back to On to the Next. Really excited to see everybody in chat already. Just wanted to say thank you so much for joining. Looks like we got, who do we got in chat? Let's take a look. TTM Fangirl was first, so we give her her dues where it counts. Mystic Jinx and Mary also joining us. Case 10, glad to see you. And Dark Side, hello. Travis, nice to see you there. Oh yeah, Travis, we just met earlier today. Travis Kemp, thanks for joining the Discord. Everybody, you can if you haven't yet, you can join the Discussing a Murder Discord, and that is in the description here. I believe so. If not, I'm gonna double check and make sure it is. Hello, Susan. Nice to see you. Let's see here. Who else we got? And Kathy. Kathy, nice to see you. And Gloria. So Gloria and Mary are both members. Thank you, members, for joining. And Disco Pervert, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Maybe we'll talk to you a little bit later, Disco. See if Big Jeff gets in here with his schnifter of drink or not. Let's see if he's coming. Andy B. Gonna listen in bed. It's 1:40 in the morning there. Andy B. Well, we appreciate you listening. Watching, listening, and stalking Anthony Hills. Okay. I'll take that as a compliment. But other than that, everybody in chat, I want to say hi to Brian here. Hey, Brian, how you doing today? Welcome and thanks for joining me for On to the Next.
Yeah, how you doing, Jeff, and everyone else?
I'm doing pretty good. Things are going okay for me. I'm on a couple-week holiday where I don't have too much to do right now, but there's one thing that I do want to address before we kind of start the show, Brian, and that is the wildfires in Maui. I'm going to put a link in the description where you guys can help. If you're in a position that you think you can help someone, Maui's really, really hurting right now, and all of Hawaii is really hurting from the wildfires that took out an entire town and of Lahaina, a place where I used to live near, and a place that is near and dear to many people's hearts. So, if you're in a position to give it and help the people of Hawaii and Maui, I'll put a link in the description. So. I just that's kind of been going on, Brian, is that we have these wildfires here in Hawaii, just really devastating. Other than that,
watch that on the news.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. It's quite amazing that how fast nature can take over, and 80 mile an hour winds. I think it was basically like a fire tornado, right? Like if you were stuck in a tornado of fire, that would be the equivalent to what you would have found yourself in. We don't need to go into the horrible details, but it's all over the news, and I'm sure you guys. So yeah, thank you for keeping Hawaii in your thoughts, guys. Thank you, TTM Fangirl. It certainly is. Hey, Mill Billy, thanks for joining. What's up? And let's see here. Mary's taking her laptop to bed to watch. Well, that's cool. I am waiting for Jack to show up. I think I think I got a message from him. What does he say? He's going to be coming shortly. I just read. Because Jack and I have decided a long time ago, oh gosh, we're almost got to be at like a year now, that we said that we were going to have a drink on a live together. And I thought we were going to do it like based on a filing, like, oh, well, when we get a ruling on this, either way, we'll have a drink. Well, it's just taking too long. Jack and I don't want to wait any longer. So we're going to, and I believe Kaff and Big Jeff, if they both show up, are also planning on having an adult refreshment. So keep that in mind, that we might get a little boozy later in the show. And then also, I think Cal's going to join us. Oh, what's that, Brian? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just commenting on your comments. That's cool. I was like, great. I'm going to head into a concert in 3 hours, so I'm going to not have a drink during this. But
you have to catch up to us later, huh?
I will definitely.
And then Kelly's going to join us in like an hour or in 3 seconds, I guess. Hey, Kel, I thought you were coming in an hour. Nice to see you.
I am. I'm literally just going to my meeting. for breakfast. And then I will join when I can. So I'll just hang around here until I get there, and then I'll be out.
Oh, awesome. Well, how's it going?
Very well, thank you.
Awesome. Been busy over there?
As busy as you can get it. I've been on my little stretch of a few days off. It's been very needing.
I know what you really want to talk about, Kel. So why don't you just tell everybody don't hide, don't lead. What do they say? Don't bury the lead. Tell us about the chickens.
Oh, the chickens. Yes, so we got 3 chickens in our lives now, and my husband's actually just gone out to go buy some fake eggs because they're a little bit nervous to lay for us. So apparently watching YouTube he realized that you're meant to put 2 ceramic eggs in the coop, and it makes them believe or kind of teach them that's what they got to do.
Well, hey, if you don't have eggs, you got fake eggs. I like that. I think it reminds me of the one with the panda bears, where the workers with the pandas dress up as pandas. Anyway. Oh, sounds exciting, Kel. Chickens are a hoot. Oh, well, they're a cluck, I guess I should say. Well, Mary, good for you. Weed's finally legal in New York State. Well, congratulations to all the people who partake. Millbilly. Okay, so I'm reading the comments.
I've got the Packers game going in the background.
Oh,
It's
well, there
halftime.
you go.
Somehow they're winning. It's ridiculous, but the Vikings lost yesterday, so that's cool. The Bears are going to win tomorrow, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just really watching it.
I'm glad we got the sports update from you, Brian. Like, I appreciate that. A lot of people like sports and they want to know what's going on. They're like, we want to watch the live, but we don't want to miss the game. Maybe you can give us
preseason, so it doesn't really matter. But unless it's the Bears, but they don't play till tomorrow. So.
Nice to see you, Serena. It's great to have you in there too as well. And Becca Chu, nice to see you, TTM. I hope I didn't miss anybody. So first,
just Kel, quickly, I just want to say, I just want to congratulate Becca on her hard work for Brendan's website. I saw that she's been really busy designing it, and I just want to say, well done, sweetheart. That's really amazing work.
Oh, cool. Yeah, share that with us. We will put it in the description for sure. That sounds awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good on you,
I went through it, too. Yeah, it looked really good. That's awesome. Make sure you sign the petition.
Absolutely, sign the petition. So, well, what else is going on? I guess we got a website for Brendan, and we should address something about really quickly. I think if anyone has any comments about Stephen's letter to the 2 different jurisdictions, I can give you my comments, and that is I would have cautioned against it. I don't think that's going to have. I don't think there's an outcome that's guaranteed to be positive from that, and I don't think that it's going to aid in the case in any manner. And maybe there are people out there that disagree with me, and that's fine. But that's kind of where I'm at. Hey, Travis, nice to see you in the. So I don't know what you guys think, Brian, Kel, about that, or if you even want to weigh in or not.
Oh, what was that on the letter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it'll do anything. I understand Stephen's complaints. That's about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
The court
I mean, I feel for him. Yeah, I feel for him.
Absolutely, 100%.
He's just absolutely, them twice falsely convicted. I'm stir crazy, and I want to get out. And so yeah, I understand it.
I agree. I don't think it's going to affect anything. I think if anything, if Kathleen doesn't have him withdraw it like the original one, the courts of appeal will just write and say, you've sent it to the wrong people. We're not going to rule on this. This isn't you don't have a pending case with us at the moment, and just kind of dismiss it. I think it's more, and I agree with you guys, and he's frustrated. He just wants movement, and when you're sitting in jail for something you didn't do, you'll do anything, just you want to be heard. So I get it. I just think I'm more concerned about what it means for Kathleen. You know, because if she may have already advised against it and then he did it again, I don't think that it'll have a ripple effect that she'll discipline him by going, you know, I'm dropping you. But I just don't want this situation to cause a misunderstanding with them and have that kind of flow on effect where there's a mistrust with the client and attorney, because, you know, it's kind of a solo move he made, and she might not support that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the puzzling thing about it, is the fact that they'd sent one to Judge Angie, and then Zellner had him write an apology letter, and that wasn't that long ago. And then he sends another one. That's where I'm lost, I guess, on the whole thing, but whatever. Oh, that's all I had.
Yeah, no worries.
It's just puzzling, you know what I mean? Like, if he hadn't sent the apology letter after the first one, you know, like 2 or 3 months ago, then you know, it's like, okay,
it would have made more sense.
Yes.
Okay, it's
send it to all the courts. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? But the fact that
you know,
send an apology letter.
I don't want to dig into it too much, but you know, the way that I see it, and I'm not a lawyer. You know, Travis is in chat. Maybe he can back me up, or you know, or lead me in the right direction. But he doesn't have a case in the Court of Appeals at the moment. So by sending a letter to the Court of Appeals, it's like, wait until you appeal the case, and then you have a case in the Court of Appeals, and then you would air those grievances. But that's just, I don't know. Maybe Travis would be willing to weigh in on that. It seems like you got the cart before the horse kind of thing. That's how I would kind of see it there. If we were going to give him the best benefit of the doubt that it was in good faith and that, you know, to be you know, filed with the Court of Appeals, you would wait till you had a case with the Court of Appeals.
Yeah, Travis actually says it was the wrong place to send it, and he's surprised that they attached an auxiliary number to it. Something like that.
There we go. Yeah, there's his comment. Yeah, there's his comment. Oh, I missed it. It got past me. I don't know how. There's a lot coming through. I see you guys. I'm trying to catch up. Anthony Hills, nice to see you. And Kelly Michaelian, I hope I'm not butchering your name. And as I said, T1 is here. T1's got some good comments as usual. So is that Stephen thinking that because he sent it to the Court of Appeals that is something different? Exactly right, Jeff. Okay, so thank you, Travis. I like that when people tell me I'm exactly right. Not often. It's not often. Yeah, so that's interesting. Let's see here.
Have you guys addressed the convicting side of it yet before I pop off? Have you guys?
Go ahead. Okay.
Well, they can't even spell original right.
Oh, ouchie. They don't have a fact checker? Spell check? Get Grammarly. By the way, you know, I teach writing. Just download Grammarly. It fixes your spelling. Put spelling in the rearview mirror, guys. Download Grammarly now. I'm not a paid advertisement.
No bullshit aside, and I do have to head off in a sec, so I'm just going to say the Convicting trailer I did watch. Listen, on a you know, on a cinematography kind of level, I think it might have it might reach a good bar in terms of the effects and the quality of the film product. The content of the film product is most likely going to be all rubbish, and it's all repetitive, and it's he burned a cat and this and that, and it's a character assassination. But I don't know. I was reading a lot of the comments. I wanted to see what the balance was in terms of how it's being reviewed. Of course, I saw some of our own in the comments saying you guys are, you know, totally off the mark. I hope you do justice. I hope you actually did do research of yourself and you're not just kind of picking it up and carrying it away. And then I see there's other comments like the hypocrite side of it, where you're sitting here and you're saying, you hear Candace say, I'm sick of what media is saying, but you're using a media platform to say what you think people should hear. So it's that side of it. But what I also did on just like the material of it is obviously frame by frame, they give you that little bit, and I framed it because I framed it and stopped it and paused it on the document side that they provide in that snippet. And we see two forms or document, and one is of an alleged from a Wendy, I believe, that is claiming that Stephen did another Sandra Morris on her in a such, I guess, based on what we can see. And the second aspect of it was they're going after the Marie Avery stuff. They're going to be addressing the allegation against him for that because they actually attached that to the trailer. Obviously, we also see Chuck Earl and Candy, which I know a lot of people in the community are interested to see that perspective of it. Family, get it? But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I have a quick one, and that is Andrew Colburn, and that is from this trailer. I only watched it once yesterday, but in the trailer he says they edited my testimony, right?
Yeah.
Well, this was recorded previously, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Before his court case, before his case was done, and so now that has been ruled on. That the Netflix civil suit case has been ruled on, and a judge has said it doesn't matter that they edited your testimony. So in a way, Andrew Colburn's words are kind of catching up to him in a way. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, considering the basis of that lawsuit. Hey, everyone.
Oh, hey, Jack.
Nope.
That's the right to introduce you. Welcome to the show, Jack.
Note to self: stop updating your computer before the live.
Yeah, what are you thinking, man? You're always doing that, updating your computer 5 minutes before we go live.
Well, no, actually, it was about 20 minutes, so it wasn't just before. Actually, maybe even longer than that. I don't know. It ran for a while. I do know that, but there were like 5 updates. I mean, I check it pretty religiously. There hadn't been anything since the last time that we had a live, and Jesus Christ. Anyway, this whole thing with Colburn, considering the basis of his lawsuit, and I'm talking about the second amended complaint, where they made all the changes. Man wrecked his marriage. Man did this. Man did that. Danger music, and it was a farce.
Creepy music.
Yeah, the danger music. That's what they called it. His lawyers.
My wife left me because of the danger music. You know what I mean? Like, no.
No, it's because you had a problem with the zipper. He had a zipper issue.
Wow. Okay.
And he got caught.
And he got caught in a zipper. Fair enough.
Yep.
Well, I got a question for you, Jack. Should we wait until Kaff gets here, at least, before we have a drink?
Yeah.
Or what do you think? Wait a minute. Add some anticipation. Yeah. I'm gonna crack that whiskey pretty soon. We gotta let it simmer, I guess. Open the bottle, let it sit out. Let's give her a few. I think, there has been some stuff, I'm not here to present anything. I don't have any evidence to present, but through some conversations on that trailer and able to see like who they were pointing the finger at, there's some people have already pulled stuff out of that trailer and said, okay, now we know what you're talking about, and you don't even have the whole story. So maybe some of the researchers, as that comes to light, will be able to talk more about it. But it seems like, we got crack teams on this stuff. Just in that little trailer, we already pulled something out, kind of new that we didn't know before.
Well, there's actually several things. The original, there's a screen there that says it's supposed to say original. Original's misspelled. I'm not kidding. It's misspelled. Look on Twitter.
Wow. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that may sound petty, but it's not. If it's professionally done, that kind of stuff doesn't get by. Just like Candace saying here on, when all this stuff came out in May, that it was going to be coming out this summer, which it's going to be late summer, but that the 85 case was about a murder case. It wasn't a murder case.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's 2 major mistakes. Oh, Jesus. And then, and then it seems like they're just going character assassination, right? Like,
Oh, that's what it'll be.
look what Stephen
Well, if
did
you,
in 1983. So
yeah,
he must have killed her. Do you know what I mean?
it
And
has
they're
a
pretty bland.
description to it, and the description it looks like their summary of the 10 parts is all about MAM 1. I'm going to be shocked if they even address anything in MAM 2 and if it's got anything to do with Kathleen Zellner and what she's been able to do with her experts or whatever, because it says exploring, the things you see in Making a Murderer 1, which is the blood, the bones, the pit, the bits and bits. So to me, when I watch it, it doesn't even look like they're addressing the now. They're only addressing the original with an eye. Making a Murderer Part 1, which is, it doesn't, I guess what they're trying to achieve is that balance out the biasm, but they're adding biasm by not addressing the now as well, because we're beyond that. There was more beyond Making a Murderer Part 1. I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's too hard to judge until we see it, if we see it.
And if you guys didn't notice, Jack, Kel, and I were part of a podcast that did 80 episodes on what MAM left out and what is the now. So in case you guys didn't know that. So I think coming from our point of view, it's like people have done it, not just us, but others have addressed things, like including, it started with blogs way back when. These are the things that were left out of MAM. And so, like, in a way, the information has already been out there. And
absolutely.
So we'll just see what the package looks like. Brian, I got a question coming from Jack, go ahead, and then we'll get this question.
Yeah, this is real quick for us that have basically looked at this case on a daily. We've taken certain aspects, actually many aspects, and we've dove off the deep end of the pool, right? And went swimming, literally, and went underwater to see what we could find, and keep going deeper and deeper underwater as far as we can go, at least. And the complications of this case, I don't know that anyone could ever really touch on all of it in a 30-part series. Literally, there's so much material, and there's so much we still don't have, and that's fact. That's all I got.
The question that, thanks, Jack. The question that I wanted to ask, and I thought I'd give it to Brian, was Travis's question. What do you think or I guess, Jack, you're on Reddit a lot as well. What do you think the proportion of supporters is guilters who are actively on social media like Reddit, like guilters to truther ratio? I think that's the question. What do you think the proportion of supporters to guilters is? Yeah.
It's kind of hard to gauge now because the case is kind of run into a dry spell, so it's a little bit more difficult to gauge. I've not been quite as engaged on Reddit as I have in times past. I mean, I still look at it. I try to look at it at least once a day, just to see, but as a guess, I would say probably 70% truthers, 30% guilters. That would be just a guess.
I'd probably, I guess, too. I'm not really on it that much either because there's just nothing on there hardly ever anymore, or lately anyways. But
I go on there once in a while. It seems like the same. It's like the same post 500 times. Always the same issues.
Sometimes it is, yeah. That's true. It every once in a while you'll run across. I mean, Heel Spider's really good about digging in pretty deep and getting into some really interesting things. Of course, Heel Spider's a lawyer, and he's got a unique way of, I guess, kind of looking at things, probably based around his own, his legal aspect of what he does. But I mean, there's some others that bring up some interesting things as well. But like I said, it's kind of a dry hump right now. There's just not a whole lot going on, like Ziggy said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I mean, yeah, but I still think. I mean, if you go by the post and the comments and stuff like that, still do think that I think the percentage is probably accurate, at least 75% truther versus guilter.
Well, as I said before,
I mean, there's obviously
well,
some guilters that don't comment every day or even check in as often. But I think that goes the same for the truther community at the same time. But I mean, they're kind of still there. They're just, like Jax was saying, heel spider or somebody like that throws up an interesting post. That's when you kind of see everybody like, oh wow, I haven't seen that guy in a while, But all of a sudden he's commenting, so he must still be here.
Yeah.
I just posted that website for BrendanDassey.com. So thank you, Becca. I got that up there in the link here on the and I will put it in the comment in the description as well. So that is very good to get keep Brendan's story out there and keep expanding his supporters. So great job on that, by the way, Becca. So let's see. We got any other questions from the? Oh, it looks like we're pretty much well caught up on the questions aspect. Anything that you guys are on the tip of your tongue wanted to address?
Well, since we're talking about things to address, and it's going to get brought up probably this weekend on either Reading with a Crew or the open mic or at some point. And it's this call I ran across the other day that I've heard before. I won't say a bunch of times, but I've heard it several times. And this specific call is at 8:10 a.m. on the morning of the 6th, November 6th, 8:10 a.m. And trust me when I tell you, I've tried to answer this question because the ramifications of all of it is, I can't explain it. And I'd like to be able to explain it, and I can't. Anyway, Pago calls in to dispatch at 8:10 on the morning of the 6th, and he wants someone to follow this vehicle to the Madison Crime Lab. And he's telling dispatch, we need to find somebody out. He doesn't really care who, as long as they've been certified. That means they're a sworn officer. So I think it's Joyce. I can't remember who answered the phone. Said, well, I can do it, whatever. And then it comes around. It turns out that she didn't, but there was another lady that did it. And so whatever this is, I mean, I can only speculate that it's the RAV because nothing else has been seized yet as far as vehicles. And he said, follow the vehicle to the Madison Crime Lab. That was his words.
Damn.
Now,
what time was the call again?
8:10 a.m. 8:10 a.m.
On the 5th.
6th.
You got it handy? Do you want to share it or you want to wait for?
No, I can share it.
All right.
Give me just a second here.
I always got a couple calls in the holster ready to go, though, just so you know. I always got a couple. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. I think you ran this by me before, Jack. I think you gave me a little bit of info on this. This is it is, because what other vehicle could he be talking about sending to the crime lab?
Well, there is another aspect here, but it's covered, and that is the burn barrels. So, okay. Let me tell this part of it, too, because this is part of this morning timeline. So, the burn barrels were put on a trailer, and they were going to be brought to Calumet County headquarters, right? And they were. So it's not that, because whoever this person was that volunteered to follow this vehicle goes to the scene, which they all refer to the scene as Avery salvage yard. So it's two separate things, right? Earl testified that they brought that because of chain of custody, someone that's a sworn that's been certified had to follow that vehicle because the guys that were hauling it, they're not cops, they're not anyone but tow truck drivers, whatever. And I'm not belittling tow truck drivers at all. I'm just saying they're not sworn. For chain of custody purposes, somebody had to be there. So anyway, Earl says that they delivered the RAV, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. That was his testimony. I don't remember the exact time. After they left the Avery salvage yard, it took longer apparently because allegedly they run into this big rainstorm, this big thunderstorm, and they had to pull off for a period of time. So anyway, all right, let me get this link here. So there's that about the barrels. It's a separate issue. It's not the same. Okay. All right. I've got this queued up. Let me share my screen here right quick. And you can pull it up. Okay. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
This call is, I mean, this is just in line. It's not, I've not isolated this call. This is just part of the dispatch calls. You can see them all there. The thing on the left is the Freedom Player. You just load them up and play them automatically. So that's what we did when Zoe and I made these. All right, so here we go. And if you need me to pause, just tell me.
Summer County Sheriff.
Hi, it's Jerry.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could call Social Care Half and White was using for the search of the dogs.
I'm sorry.
Okay. What I need you to do is contact somebody. I'll let you make that determination.
Okay.
To follow a vehicle down to the crime lab in Madison.
Okay.
And that can be the jailer, that can be the dispatcher, that can be anybody who I have deputized.
I paused that. Did you hear what he said? Follow the vehicle down to the Madison Crime Lab.
Right.
Just want to make sure everybody heard that, because if you're not listening, it kind of gets by you. But he did say that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll continue on.
Is that you just follow the vehicle so that we can log that it's down in Madison.
Okay. So, you want me to go?
Want you?
I don't care.
Quiet day?
Quiet day so far. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I translate for you, Jack?
You want to, if Marie's in favor of it?
Marie.
Can I translate that for you, Jack? What she said?
Sure. Yeah.
I really want to go. I really want to go. I want to be the one to do it because I want to get out of the office. That's what she said. It's not, you have to be very, you have to be very subtle when you. Oh, Kaff, see you in chat. Why aren't you in here? You better get in. You better get in here, Kaff. Okay, so sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I just wanted to say it sounded like she was excited to go, but. If it's so important at this point, you just let anybody go. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like it's a top priority to them, right? It's just anybody that's been deputized. So it's interesting. It really is. Well, before you start that, Jack, Kaff, welcome.
Hey, Kaff.
Hey, Jack.
How you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm pretty good. Are you feeling like having a drink later?
Yeah, sure.
Well,
it's only 9 in the morning. Why not?
Yeah, here we go. Well, we're right in the middle of this call. Maybe after this call.
Oh shit! Hang on, I'm gonna mute.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry.
Wait, what?
Oh,
Looks like we're stalling. What's that, Kaff? Did you say you were going to mute? Oh, fuck.
Me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry. I've got 2 tabs open and I had the volume up on one of them.
No worries, no worries.
Could hear my own voice echoing back to me.
Oh, no. Well, we got a question here or a comment. You can hear the dispatch squawking in the background continuously. Yeah, you can really hear it in the background. Okay, so we're in the middle of this phone call, Kaff. It's the one that Jack just found recently about Pagel's trying to find somebody to follow a vehicle to the state crime lab. It's evidence. So, all right, Jack.
I'll back it up like 5 or 10 seconds and we'll continue on.
Okay, cool.
I don't care.
Quiet day?
Quiet day so far. Yeah.
Okay. You want to, if Marie's in favor of it?
Marie's shaking her head. Yeah, that is okay.
Okay. Why don't you, let's see, what do we got for vehicles over there? Joyce said she'll go, and I'm fine with that.
Looks like one marked here.
What's that?
Looks like one.
Hang on a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, make sure you get directions for going to the crime lab.
Okay.
So that you can know how to get down there. But there's one out there, or what do you got out there for vehicles?
I have one marked out here.
One marked?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're coming back with the transport vehicles, aren't they? Yes, they're coming back with transport.
Okay.
Bring one of the transport vehicles over.
Over to you, and then
over to our location here.
Okay, and then go to Madison.
And then follow this down to Madison. Yes.
Okay. All right.
All
and
right.
in the meantime, I should get directions to the crime lab in Madison.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Get directions up.
Okay.
On the internet of how to get down there.
Okay.
All righty.
I'll wait for a transport squad, and I'll be over.
Okay. Real good. Thanks, Joyce.
Sure. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. I will tell you there, and I don't have it queued, but there is another call. Joyce doesn't end up going. It's another lady there in the dispatch. I don't know why. Who knows? That ends up going, and there was another call actually besides that one where Joyce calls the crime lab to get directions. I think it may be the call directly after this. I think she calls them. So anyway, the whole thing is that there's nothing else. I looked at the search. I looked through the search warrant file yesterday. There are two things on the 6th. The Grand Am and the flatbed. That warrant was served according to what's written, handwritten on the search warrant. 12:15 p.m. Those were seized by Skorlinski, DCI, in Crivets. So it won't have anything to do with the crime scene that they're calling, right? There are pretty much all the search warrants are contained within one PDF file. The exception being, I know that the Dassey warrant is not in there. That was in April of 2006. It's not in there, but we have it. There was a bunch of search warrants written on the 7th, mainly for the Avery family, for their DNA and so forth and so on, and some other things. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know what he's talking about, because I can't find any other warrant at all.
It's an interesting question. So you guys out there, see what you can do and dig up and try to identify what this is. But Susan sent a time code to you. Does that make sense to you? Hour 58:53. Do you think she wants you to go to an hour 58:53? Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'll scroll it on up here.
Well, thank you, Susan, for the idea here.
By the time of that call, Groffy's already looking at the rabbits, supposedly. Or
well, that's another part that I looked up, because I was thinking, I just had it in my head that Groffy arrived first thing that morning. Well, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Interesting.
If you read his testimony, he wasn't called until mid-morning on the 6th. I was really kind of shocked, because I just had it in my brain. He was there, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. No.
Yeah, that's
no,
how I had it too. I didn't look it up. Interesting.
Yep, he wasn't even called until mid-morning. So if the rab was actually there, why wouldn't they have called him, 6 o'clock in the morning and said, "Look, we got this car in, and we really need you to come in and take photos, blah blah blah, whatever." That didn't happen.
The last finishing touches.
Hey, look, I'm open for suggestions here on where else to go and try to find an answer for this.
Yeah, and I don't want to speculate too much. I want to be.
What? I don't want to put out I don't want to put out no innuendo either. But the fact is that something weird's going on here because there are no other search warrants that something else, another vehicle was seized. Not at that time. It's too early.
Right.
Sorry.
Huh.
And I want to be able to explain it. And I've asked numerous people in the community, and no one can answer that question. So if it's not the RAV, well, let's back up. Let's say that it was the RAV. It leaves the Avery salvage yard at 9 or 9:30 that evening. I think is about the time that they finally pulled out. They deliver it somewhere, do whatever. It gets hauled in the rest of the way to the Madison the next morning. I'm just saying, I don't know, guys, and I want to know. So, if anybody out there in the
We got to keep
in the
digging.
world, yeah, absolutely. All right, I've got her forwarded up here to 158.32.
All
How
right.
about that?
Do we know what this is, or we're just going blind in this one off of? Although Susan's not going to lead us astray. She's got something good for us.
This is at. I think I know what this is. And if you guys, people have been asking me. Was asking numerous times. How do you tell the timestamp on here? And I'm going to show you here. If you look at these lines, you got to look over here at the player. Whichever one is highlighted green, that's the call you're listening to. And if you look directly under the call, it'll give you a bunch of information. Like this one is channel 6. It says it right there, C606. It gives you the date. It's European, but it's 11/6. And then if you look directly to the right of that, this is in military time. So it says this one is at 11. It's so small. 11:34 and 27 seconds. All these calls from Calumet County are time-stamped. So, all right, let's see what Susan's got up her sleeve for us. I think I know what this is, but let's just let it be surprised.
That's still a goal or not.
Oh, so they must have something, huh?
I'm thinking. There's a press conference I heard like at 1:30 today.
Oh, okay. Okay. The crime lab people, are they still out there, or did they finish up last night?
No, they were supposed to bring a trailer of stuff here. They haven't shown up here yet.
Okay.
We sent Marie over to escort the vehicle down to Madison to the crime.
Did you get that?
There it is.
Sent Marie.
The vehicle. We sent Marie with the vehicle. What
There
other
you go.
vehicle is the vehicle? It's the vehicle. There's only one
Right.
the vehicle in this one. There's other vehicles, but there's only one the vehicle, if you catch my drift.
Well, and at this point in time, there's only one the vehicle. No other vehicles have been seized. So
where's the discrepancy with Ertl's report then? Yeah?
it's not only Ertl's. It's definitely Ertl's testimony because what he said isn't true at all. It can't be if it's that they're hauling the RAV down there. He lied.
It was really
Where
good.
did they take? Where did they take the vehicle?
It really put those two calls together. Here it is. We're talking about having these people come, and then now she's saying in her own words, "Oh, we were waiting around for him, and I didn't go. We sent Marie." Right? So they really fantastic work there. We really put those two together. It doesn't make any sense, and sometimes it takes a second for even me to wrap my head around like why. When was okay? So let's ask for the folks at home. When was the RAV in his report? Okay, I got the comment here. Ertl testified the RAV left at 8:45 p.m. and arrived at the crime lab at 1:15 a.m. Which date was that, Susan? That must have been
That was the 5th. Night of the 5th and into the early morning of the 6th. That's right.
Yeah.
Susan's Britton, keep going a bit.
Keep going a bit.
Yeah.
She wants me to play a little bit more of the call. I'll back it up 5 seconds and continue.
Yep.
We sent Marie over to escort the vehicle down to Madison to the crime lab.
Okay.
Or she's coming here and then going down. Yeah.
Okay.
She's escorting it from the scene.
Okay. And Jerry out in the field, or where is he at?
Jerry's out there, yes.
Okay.
Jeremy.
Well, he never went home last night, huh?
I don't know if he got any time off or not. I don't know.
That's what she wanted me to play, that Jerry was basically out there all night or somewhere all night.
Yeah.
The sheriff was out there all night.
He didn't go home.
What?
The sheriff didn't go home. That's
the sheriff. He's the first one to go home. say.
He's the first. He should be the first. He's the one that's delegating the work, right? Not the lead. And I harken back to 1985 depositions when they kept harping on why was Kasurk so involved in this one. And then we see the same thing with Pagel. Why is he so involved in this one? When it comes to Stephen Avery's case, the sheriff takes a personal approach to the case. You know, that's where you go, why? And just so many things surrounding Sheriff Pagel. That was a really good find. I appreciate you bringing that forward. Thank you, Susan.
So with this timeline, like let's just, for argument's sake, let's assume it's the RAV. What time could it have arrived? Could it have arrived at the crime lab? Because it doesn't sound like it's even left yet at the time of this call.
Well, the Madison Crime Lab, I think, is roughly an hour and a half depending, to an hour 45 minutes away from the salvage yard. So if they left it, I actually think that Marie calls around 10 o'clock. So if they left at some point after that, you know, you're looking at probably noon-ish.
Yeah. So and Graffy testified he got a call mid-morning.
That's right. Maybe they said, you know, hey, we got the vehicle coming in. We need you to come in and take some photos. Okay, so be here about 12:30. I don't know, because they're never going to tell us. They're never going to admit that.
Oh, absolutely they won't. But God, it sure sounds like that's what happened, though.
Absolutely.
Compared to Graffy in that, this is what happened. I mean, I took a week and a half off, you know, but went to Illinois and watched the Bears.
That'll teach you.
I know. I mean, I was following the posts and whatnot, but nobody was commenting. I was like, "Come on, somebody's got to know."
That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked the question, "What the hell's going on here?" Because I can't explain it any other way other than to say it's the RAV. They held it somewhere overnight, and they took it the rest of the way the next morning, which is not what Ertl said at all. It's not what he testified to, sworn testimony.
Right. Huh. Not even close, though, to what Ertl said.
No,
I mean, again,
not even.
I mean, it's always kind of been a mystery as how that. I know it took about an extra hour for the RAV to even arrive from the, you know, but okay, maybe they got a flat tire, maybe they drove slow, maybe they, you know, who knows. In the middle of the night, there's not really that much traffic, so I feel like it, and it's a tow truck driver, like you say, it's not like a cop or anything, or you know what I mean. So it's, I mean, they would just drive, but gosh, now it seems like Ertl just said it to say it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the hour discrepancy, because it's not really an hour. It was like really an entire day, you know, like the entire night.
Well, at least a half a day, you know.
Yeah, that's. I mean, but I never paid attention to. I'm like you. Because I didn't look it up. I just always assumed Graffy said he got there early, or that was kind of the, you know, and just kind of went with that. That he arrived early. I just assumed it was about 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday that he first looked at the RAV, but I guess he didn't. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of these calling all cars kind of situations. Like, guys, help me out here. I mean, I've been looking at this case a long time, and again, I listen to all these calls. Probably this whole series here on the 6th, you know, Channel 6, Channel 7, all that, because that's really where the main juice of the calls are, as far as the case. There's other channels, obviously, but they're not. They're ambulance and fire trucks and shit like that. And so,
sure.
I don't know. It might be worth reviewing Channel 1. I may do that to see if there's anything on the radio, per se, that we can pick up. I don't think there is, but, you know, there's so many calls. I mean, I can't keep them all in my damn brain.
Oh, but you know, I think that's why putting together that list, and if you guys don't know how to find it, go to Foul Play and then in playlists, and you have key calls, and that playlist, guys, is curated by Jack and others. I think Jack and others, they're over at Foul Play, and it really is.
Yours helps me. It's me. It's me and yours that do it.
I mean, you guys have really curated a great playlist that, you know. Instead of, you know, especially if you're new to the case or if you haven't been through a lot of calls before, it's a great place to start with that playlist. If I can, I'll remember to put it in the description. Otherwise, go to Foul Play and then playlists, key calls. It's fantastic. You keep adding to it like every week or so, don't you?
Yeah, I try to, carve out, any calls. Certainly this one is, well, there's actually probably, I'll probably do a montage. Try not to make it too terribly long. I mean, we do have the Tom Pierce call in there, which is 20 minutes long. So, I don't want to make it too terribly long. But basically, I would take and edit these calls together into a string, giving the, correct time points and pointing to the right place in the dispatch if anybody wants to listen to the entire thing. But that takes a little bit longer. But this is definitely going to be added. As I said, I've heard this. I remember hearing this call before and not thinking shit about it. I just never registered in my head that this is the RAV that they're talking about. I don't know any other call it can be. So if anybody has any suggestions and can point me to another warrant that I'm completely just brain farting out, please do. Otherwise, we got a problem here, and a big one. Or they do. No, we don't.
Well, we got to keep massaging this thing, right? Keep trying to find it and keep working it and make sure that we can. Can you prove something was wrong, or does it lead us in the right direction? So yeah, everybody out there, if you can work on that too, that's cool. I know that we will be
Absolutely
poking around on that. So, but you know what? New stuff comes out randomly and all the time, and I hope Kaff is back, or she's going to be back here in a minute. And if she gets a chance, she's been working on something that she's probably going to share with us in due time. Like I said, some of us were looking at that, trailer from Convicting and picking out screenshots and, just pulling that thing apart already. So,
oh yeah.
It's always somebody's working on something for sure. So,
well, you think about how Making a Murderer and truthers were just completely raked over the coals and stabbed, and still to this day there's people that do it, and that's fine. I don't care. But I'll tell you one thing: after everything that some of these people have said about Making a Murderer, you don't think that this is not going to be looked at with a microscope?
yeah.
I'm going to say that. I'm going to say this too, and we touched this. You touched on a little bit in the beginning. Maybe Kel may even said something about it, but this is involving Andrew Colburn. And look, I don't really have any sympathy for the guy. I don't. But you got to understand what he got sucked into. And if you haven't really dove into, especially from about March last year and the lawsuit, what really happened, he got screwed with his pants on. I'm not talking about his girlfriend. I'm talking about other people pulling this guy in, getting him to sign an exclusivity deal with Convicting a Murderer, not letting him go tell his story. Not that I necessarily believe his story. That's not it at all. But he was prevented from doing that, and he wanted to. He wanted to do other interviews.
Interesting.
But he was talked into signing an exclusivity deal, and he did. So,
go ahead.
His lawyer, Griesbach, and this producer, Brenda. I'll just call her Brenda.
Can you say that again? His lawyer, Griesbach. Just listen to that. Oh my God.
They convinced him not to do any interviews. And I'm not saying that it would necessarily help his case or his story, whatever he wanted to present. It could have killed him even worse. But to say, it's really better if you don't go talk to other people. You need to really kind of think about this deal. And he did, and he signed it. And I think I think it screwed him. He was screwed anyway because of the attorney-client privilege stuff got completely destroyed, but that's another story. Anyway, just wanted to show that. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Anything else in this call, or we'll get it? You want to shut it off?
Shut it off. But I got another call for if you're worried about it here. I got my friend Kaff. She loves to talk about redonts, and this is a call that I've never heard. So this is the first time I've heard it. I'm sure Jack has heard it. I'm sure many of you have heard it, but I've never heard it.
I made this clip here.
Yeah, you made the clip. Yeah, exactly. Right. So I said, I know you've heard it, but we all haven't heard it. So
no.
If there's anything you can do to set this clip up because you've actually heard it, let her rip. Otherwise, we'll.
Let's see. But that's calls were done because MTSO wants permission to search. Or don't get permission. Then calls the superior to let the. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't remember anything too spectacular. I do know. I can't remember if it's this call or another one. I do know that. I think this is what is in this call. She's asking him, and he says something like, "Well, yeah, there was 5 of Teresa's friends or something came through here earlier, and I told them, yeah, go ahead," or something to that effect. I think that's right.
Oh, if this is not that call, I'd love to hear that one sometime.
I think this is it.
Again, let me know if you can't hear it.
I can hear it.
Oh, hello, is this Josh? Yes, it is. Hi, this is Deputy Bessler from the Sheriff's Department. Yes. Are you out near your pits? I am in my pit. Okay. I hope the county closed some of my gates off. Okay, that's what I was just going to talk to you about. They're going to be asking to do that, and we're going to certainly be asking your permission to be in the pits or on or around them. Not a problem. Maybe do some searching. I know this morning must have been some of her friends came through, and I said feel free. Okay. We appreciate it. I'll just pass on that I talked to you and you're aware of it. Yeah, like I said, I'm in the pit, so. Okay, very good. Thank you. Sheriff's Department Bessler. Hi, Chris. How are we doing? We paged them. We called them back. Lieutenant Simon talked to Great Lake Rescue and told them just to stand by to get going. And Josh Redant is in the pits, and he's securing his pits. He's got absolutely no problem with us being on or searching in the pits. Okay, sounds good. Just log that information somewhere. Maybe get a hold of the kitchen. Ask them. I'll probably be calling out the command. Okay. If they can put together some lunches. A lot of these guys have been working all day without eating, depending on how far we're out here. But if we can just throw them in the command post, water, and anything else on that. Any guesses on how many? 20 more? Let's go 25 to 30. And they should go with the command post? Yeah, we could just throw them in there right away. Okay.
Get some hungry guys, you know. Interesting call there. I think.
You know what I find interesting?
What do you find interesting, Kaff?
The fact that they're calling to ask if they can search, and he's saying people have already come through and searched.
Yep.
This is exactly what I found interesting. And there's one other thing that I want to add before you finish your comment. One thing I find interesting is Big Jeff is here. Welcome, Big Jeff.
Welcome. Hey, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to go on to the next.
That's my partner. That's my law partner. Holy shit.
That's right.
I gotta put my tie back on.
I was handling a case. That's what made me late. Case of wine.
That's a borderline dad joke, man. I think it's a dad joke.
That is a dad joke.
So, isn't there a hey TTM fangirl? Isn't there a newspaper article that goes along with this sort of the 5 girls? And they actually name them in that newspaper article. And don't they say something weird about the RAV in that? Like they saw it or something?
Did they?
I've looked. I can't find it.
Because this is my theory. Yeah. So glad you say that, Big Jeff, because lately I've been thinking, who's to say that those searchers that morning didn't go, well, when we were in Redance, we kind of like were on the border and we saw a RAV. We could see from our vantage point, there's a RAV4 over there. And they called Ryan or they called Pagel, and that's what triggered it. I mean, it's a theory. I can't prove it one way or the other, but it would fit, wouldn't it? That those searchers are out there and then all of a sudden the cops are aware of it, and then Pam God is sent out. So it's just another possible explanation. I think. What do you guys think about the searchers being the potential tip-off?
Well, there's I don't know about newspaper, but there's actually a written report in the case with all the
Yeah,
names.
they mentioned that they do the name.
Yeah, the summary report, but I swear I've seen, and I think it was the Herald, that there was an article, and I don't remember where it came from. I looked actually probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago because we have a newspaper.com subscription. I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm just wording it incorrectly. I don't know.
Things are disappearing from the world. I swear to God, because there's things I've seen that I can't find anymore. There are certain channels that got deleted from a long time ago when I first started. Eric Hosey's channel for one, right? If Eric Hosey's channel is still around, I bet I could find it.
It is. It's still around.
I'll have a look. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Double good luck.
So that question that's up on the screen, right? This call, when you say this was before, obviously this call's at 1:30, and Ryan's on the 5th. So they all met with Ryan early in the morning. So this call is after that, and I don't know that Redont is very clear. We need that newspaper article to tell us what time. And I thought the cops found him and told him to get lost. So yeah. So
I thought that was after the RAV. But Earl says there's other people down there searching too. At one point.
You're right. So
I mean, Pam.
Yeah, down in the on the yard. I'm talking about in Redont's.
Right. No, I know what you're saying too, but I mean, like, I feel like they've been lurking around there and that.
Yeah. So it's hard to say. The answer to that question, the last question was I don't know.
Yeah, well, what do you think the likelihood then, guys, of the searchers being the ones that actually said, well, we can read RAV4 on this tire cover? What do you think? They're in the area.
Yeah.
Well, but it's quite possible. I mean, I think that the most important thing is that the RAV had to be discovered by something or someone not related to law enforcement, because it would have, sort of been, an illegal search if it was done by anybody.
Right.
But if it was done by law enforcement, because they would have needed a warrant. Now that said, I know there's things in the law about things being open in plain sight, right? I mean, if you're, for example, if the cops stop you and you have a big fat bag of drugs out on the passenger seat, they don't need a warrant to search your car because it's out in plain sight.
Does that work for does that work for non-law enforcement? Where I'm saying, like, specifically 5 girls in Redont's see the RAV from Redont's, they don't have permission to be like where they are. You know what I mean? Maybe they're even somewhere where they shouldn't be on someone else's property, so they can't be the ones that call it in. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they're in a position that would make it questionable. Because they're like, how'd you see it from Redont's property, guys? You didn't have permission. So, like, that's where I think it gets questionable, where they're like, well, we saw it, but we can't be the ones to admit it. I'm just throwing an idea out there, guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it? I mean, I think it's a good idea, but it's really not about who found it. It's about who put it there. I mean, and once it got put there, and I don't think it was Stephen Avery that put it there, or Brendan Dassey. I think once it got put there, there was sort of a push to find it, right? And however it got found, as long as it wasn't by law enforcement, that was good. Is it really matter what? Yeah.
Yeah, it had to be found. Yeah, it had to be found.
I sent you the report. Their names are mentioned in there. I think it's 11:15. They writ for a time.
I can't remember. I was thinking it was like 12:30. They were found by whoever from Manitowoc Sheriff's Office, but I couldn't remember the time.
Search for the names. Search the newspaper articles for the names. That might be the way to find it.
Oh, okay. You don't want the I think it's
No, I do.
queso.
Yeah, well, I mean, queso. If you want lives, you look at queso.
Here, I got the thing that you sent me, Kaff. I got it right here. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
zoom
on
in.
the report's on the right hand side. See up the top, it says 17 hours.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna
No,
have to
no,
take the other. Sorry, I got the wrong copy. I got to look at this copy because this one's opened in a web page.
She's right. She's exactly right. This is what we remember reading, right? It said where they found the 4 friends, where they said they found her vehicle, right?
Yeah, and they're on the southwest corner.
So you're saying it's on the right side?
Yeah, they're 2 different reports.
Yeah, there's a Manitowoc County survey report too.
Okay, so names are Christy Jolene Bain, which is a
Look what it says on the left side. I mean, just read what it says on the left side that she's underlined.
Friends of Teresa. Report. Yeah, from Queso, Friends of Teresa were searching the Avery salvage yard where they located her motor vehicle off the southwest quadrant of the property.
Right. But Pam found it on the southeast quadrant. So.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean, SPRH did a great post like years ago on Reddit.
Yeah, that's
on
right.
TikTok. What is it? The Reconstructionist, I believe. Maybe it wasn't that one, but he did like 2 parts to that.
The only thing
he was kind of convinced that Remaker parked the RAF.
I get your point, Josh.
Could have been. Maybe he did. I don't know.
It really matters, who planted it or et cetera. But how it's discovered can kind of give us an indication as to the degree of funny business, I guess. Do you know what I mean? It's just trying to get as clear as we can, because if it comes from them, it does make sense. It would make sense if they were the ones that, hey, Ryan, they call Ryan and say, we really think we got something here, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I think it's a possibility. I mean, it's not impossible that this happened. They were there at Redonce.
Right. And see, the southwest quadrant is closer to Redonce, but it's kind of like a no man's land at the same time. It's kind of so... like say then Pam finds it on the southeast quadrant. So I've always kind of thought that, I mean, when people throw out the theories and whatnot, that the RAV could have been parked, on or near Redonce and then moved to the salvage yard. I mean, I feel it's definitely a possibility, and I mean, it really could have been done the morning of the 5th pretty easily. And then you bring in Sawinski and the whole thing falls apart. But again, that's based on Sawinski and what he saw. But either way, it's just my thoughts,
No, I hear you, but and those thoughts don't necessarily misalign with what was said in that art. I'm still on the text of what Kaff provided us, right? I mean, it says
right, yeah, that they found it.
They found it off the property,
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
they found
and there's an
off.
article. Peterson said it was found in the gravel pit too. Everybody's just kind of like,
yeah,
he must have spoke,
I was gonna say that I remember that.
Great point. That's a great point, Ziggy. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Fantastic. No.
Travis has got up, I guess, talking about all this. I know he put this up a few minutes ago. The Plainview Doctrine. Maybe I can get him to explain that. He's going to be special guest on the open mic on Sunday. He's going to be talking about the post-conviction process, and he's going to answer some questions, and maybe we can get him to explain the Plainview Doctrine.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, I think he's put that up in response to when I said, Ellie if they see a bag of drugs in your passenger seat, then they can. Yeah. But I mean, I think the question is, does it extend to if they were walking along Redonce property line and looked into ASY and saw, this well-hidden car,
And on top of that, we have Wiegert on a change of plans phone call. Wiegert says, "We want to see if they will let us have the search party." The way he words it is, it sounds like the search party is an extension of law enforcement.
Well, of course it is. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it.
He kind of slips up when he says it, though. It's not, and his verbiage really says they're an extension of us, and so. As an extension of law enforcement, does that change anything as well? We could ask Travis. Does that if you are considered an extension of law enforcement, and you're working with them actively, does that change the rules you have to follow? So a lot of interesting questions there for sure, and not always what you might think, right?
Yeah, but the whole thing happens so fast because it sounds like they're going to meet at the sheriff's department too. That's
right.
They never. Instead, Pam just suddenly finds it.
And
it's also a search party that is going to, some search party that's going to search the yard, and it's Pam and Nicole. So
don't forget Ziggy that we can place who is it, Wiegert and one of his cohorts at Teresa's house the same morning as the people met there for the search party, and they were checking the fax number, right? So is it any, was there any type of information exchange, or that was, when that was the real search directions were given, I don't know. It's awfully fishy. Too big of a coincidence for me. I'm not a believer in coincidences.
What? Come on, Big Jeff.
I'm a believer in miracles. Miracles, I'm a believer.
Yes. You know what? I'm a believer in keeping our promises of having a drink together.
Well, I have mine out. I'm drinking right now.
Oh, he's ready to go. Okay, well, I'm ready. I'm going to get that whiskey going right now, guys.
He said he was working on a case of wine.
That's right.
That's pretty good.
Well, I'm literally getting a drink. That's why I'm literally getting it. Okay. So, when Cal gets back, we got some cool thing to show about a side project we've been working on. So we'll be excited to share that in a little bit. What else? We talked about the letter, and we talked about what else did we talk about before Jeff came in? We hit a few different
the Poggle call.
Oh, that's right.
Did you hear that, Big Joe?
There's a lot of Poggle calls. My favorite one is blood on the key and blood. What is it? What did he say? Blood on the key and blood on something else.
Oh yeah, that's the November 9th or 10th call. There's a couple of them. Then
is that the one where he's gloating about how he made his case?
That's his victory lap call. I'm not sure which one you guys are talking about right now.
It was worth the wait.
Well, I gotta tell you, worth the wait. This whiskey, I'm just smelling it right now, guys. It kind of smells like an apple orchard almost. Like it's really got this
look at there. Look at you go.
Floral kind of.
Now this call that
did you get the Crown Apple, Jeff?
I got the it's a Glenlivet 14 single malt cognac cask selection by George Smith.
Wow.
Which hack movie is that, Travis, that you're talking about?
Yeah, which
I think he's talking about the Convicting a Murderer.
Oh, Convicting? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
I guess the first 3 episodes are going to be released, and this is according to Susan, I think, or somebody in chat was saying the first 3 episodes will be released for free on YouTube, and then the rest you have to pay their premium video service for. So the remaining
once a week on Thursday till the series completes.
Well, Travis, I without repeating every word that you've written in the last couple of comments, I tend to agree with most of your sentiments. So we'll leave it at that. But here's the counter, and like I said earlier, we're able to dig some things out of what Convicting a Murderer has put in their trailer. We already kind of caught some new details that maybe we'll be able to talk about more, but related to one of the allegations against Stephen and who that was and how they relate to the case. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So in a sense, like, I think that we're going to see a lot of Stephen's a very, very bad man, so therefore he must have killed Teresa Halbach, right? Like, that's kind of what I'm expecting. But I think inadvertently they might give us a few details here and there that, especially with the documentation that they've dug up, like maybe some things that we haven't seen before, it's just going to open up new avenues for us, right? So like there's this double-edged sword. Like, yeah, it's just going to be bashing him the whole time, and they're here to defend a court case that was settled in 2007, but they're here to defend the verdict and the cops. Like, the motive is kind of funny, but hey, I'm not here to judge it before I've seen it. So, but yeah.
I think you're right, Jeff. I think probably what they're going to do is sort of uncover those things that the defense that the prosecution wanted to bring in, but were deemed not admissible, irrelevant, etc. And now all of a sudden they're going to come to us and tell us how this same stuff is relevant, right? And that's exactly what they're going to do. So I think
I think it's going to be character assassination from episode 1 to episode ad nauseum, whatever it is, and that's fine. I expect that. But everybody also has to keep in mind, Candace Owens says in that trailer, this is all about I'm all about the truth. Well, number one, you're not all about anything because you didn't have a damn thing to do with the making of the series at all. It was given to you on a platter. And number two, it was made by a lot of guilters. That's the truth. When Making a Murder was made, there was no such thing as a truther. Not really. I mean, there probably were a few, but, it wasn't really a thing. And now it's blown up. The whole thing. Yeah, exactly. She is the original truther, right? So, yeah, I think it's going to be serious character assassination. No, Jeff, maybe Jeff can tell you about the call that I brought into this that I've been yammering on about for 3 days now, 4 days, whatever.
The call that you played with us before Big Jeff got here?
Yeah.
So at 8:10 in the morning on the
6th of November.
On the 6th of November, Peggle is on call with dispatch or somebody from the main office. And he's saying, he's saying, I need somebody who has been deputized to follow the vehicle down to the crime lab. Get directions to the crime lab, and then you're going to come out to the site, and then you're going to follow them to the crime lab. And then she goes, oh, okay, I'm going to do it. And then we heard another call later where she goes, I didn't end up doing it. We sent Marie instead at 8:10. And this is 8:10 in the morning, and then later in the afternoon is when it actually. So it just doesn't.
Later that morning, 10 something in the morning. It
just doesn't align with the official story that Erdl had said when the RAV went to the crime lab. So we're finding that's pretty big, Jack. So kudos to you for finding that. We got to get to the bottom of it, but it's it's things like this. Like, I'm still surprised that we're still overturning, like, finding these things. You know what I mean? We're still finding things, guys. Like, don't stop. It could be that next little thing that gets us there.
I feel like we could listen to it again. I'd like to get Big Jeff's thoughts on it. Kel's too, actually, but
yeah, let's do it. Jeff especially. Jack?
I do have it. Hold on, let me get the original link here.
All right, guys.
I'm with Jackson and everyone else. There's no other vehicle it could have been other than the RAV. And while Jack's finding it, Big Jeff, what time do you think Groffy looked at the RAV on Sunday morning?
I mean, it would have had to have been early, right? Based on
no.
See, that's what I thought. All right.
No.
See, I think you're onto something here, Jax.
So I looked it up. I thought it was early the next morning. No, they didn't even call him until mid-morning.
Oh my God.
That's in his testimony. I don't know.
Well, we don't know who unlocked it, right? It got magically unlocked, and that's add that to the miracle list, right? The RAV, unlocks itself.
Well, I mean, Harrington does admit to Fassbender he had to call a locksmith in, but there's really no real conversation about it. Had to get a locksmith in, but that's really all he says about it. Well, what did the locksmith do? Did he bring a Slim Jim? He would have had to. I mean, other than, I guess from the VIN number, I think there's a way to contact, or they may have, their private books that will detail which code, because otherwise to get that code, the code is included. It's
You're
in
talking about the
on
code
the
to make a
passage.
key, the code that will let
Yeah.
you make a new key. That code.
That's
'Cause
right.
It didn't have it didn't have an electronic lock, so you would have. It's only manual. So there's other codes that let you program, fobs. They had no fob.
So, so a locksmith was there. So, but anyway, yeah. So this call I'm going to play. You'll see it. Let me get it on the screen here. Knew I was forgetting something.
Could I be talking about the Grand Dam? When did
No.
the Grand Dam come back from Crivets?
It didn't come back from Crivets. The Grand Dam and the flatbed were seized at Crivets by Skorlinski at 12:15 that day.
On the 5th.
Sixth.
The 6th. Okay, but okay, so it couldn't have been back from Crivets by then if this is the morning of the 6th. But it's not still in Crivets, right? They brought it back. I remember a call where Pagel's talking about you can't keep the RAV4 and the Grand Am in the same box.
Well, that's just when they were. Oh yeah, that's on the return from the crime lab. Yeah, that was later. Okay, channel 6. There we go. Share.
I'm all ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Well, I tell you, that first sip of whiskey surely tasted good, guys. I hope the rest of you join me.
Alrighty, here we go.
Summer County Sheriff.
Hi, it's Jerry.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could call Schultz's Deer Halfham White was using for the search of the dogs.
I'm sorry.
Okay. What I need you to do is contact somebody. I'll let you make that determination.
Okay.
To follow a vehicle down to the crime lab in Madison.
Okay.
And that can be the jailer, that can be the dispatcher, that can be anybody who I have deputized, that can just follow the vehicle so that we can log that it's down in Madison.
Okay. So, you want me to go?
Want to?
I don't care.
Quiet day?
Quiet day so far, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to, if Marie's in favor of it?
Marie's shaking her head, yeah, that is okay.
Okay. Why don't you, let's see, what do we got for vehicles over there? Joyce said she'll go, and I'm fine with that. But,
looks like one marked here.
what's that?
Looks like one.
Hang on a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, make sure you get directions for going to the crime lab.
Okay.
So that you can know how to get down there. But there's one out there, or what do you got out there for vehicles?
I have one marked out here.
One marked?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're coming back with the transport vehicles, aren't they? Yes, they're coming back with transport.
Okay.
Bring one of the transport vehicles over.
Over to you? And then
over to our location here.
Okay. And then go to Madison.
And then follow this down to Madison, yes.
Okay. All right.
All
and
right.
in the meantime, I should get directions to the crime lab in Madison.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Get directions on the internet of how to get down there.
Okay.
All righty.
I'll wait for a transport squad and I'll be over.
Okay, real good. Thanks, Joyce.
Sure. Bye.
Bye.
He says a vehicle at first, so, and then he says the vehicle. Yeah, I'm curious to know what vehicle he's talking about.
Okay, do you want to forward up to where Susan had us go to and let Big Jeff hear that too? You
Absolutely.
should. Yeah. Okay, give me just 1 second. And this is okay. We're at an hour 15 into this. It's at an hour. What was it? Hour 58.
Yeah, hour 58.
We'll start about right here, about at hour 58:34. All right, here we go.
Oh, so they must have something, huh?
I'm thinking. There's a press conference. I heard like at 1:30 today.
Oh, okay. Okay. The crime lab people, are they still out there, or did they finish up last night?
No, they were supposed to bring a trailer of stuff here. They haven't shown up here yet.
Okay.
We sent Marie over to escort the vehicle down to Madison to the crime lab.
Okay.
Or she's coming here and then going down. Yeah.
Okay.
She's escorting it from the scene.
Okay.
And
Jerry out in the field, or where is he at?
Jerry's out there, yes.
Okay.
Jeremy.
Well, he never went home last night, huh?
I don't know if he got any time off or not. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll give him a call later. So.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bye.
I love that part. Not sure if the sheriff made it in last night. He was pretty busy out there all night. Huh.
Yeah, so Big Jeff, there's quite a bit to really filter through here. And I need to explain, and I didn't explain it to you, but I did to everyone else. There's a second part to this. They mentioned waiting on the crime lab to come there, and I'm there at headquarters. They had collected the burn barrels, and they were being brought back on a trailer, and then I guess they were going to haul them up to the crime lab as well. So Hawkins was out there, I guess, in the garage waiting for that. He was waiting for the crime lab to arrive so they could haul all that shit back. This was a separate issue because I've tried to find out what other vehicles was in play at this time of the morning on the 6th, and I can't find anything at all. And on top of that, as Jeff pointed out, and he's pointed out in the with the Kasurik in the 85 case, the sheriff's involvement. The sheriff is out there all freaking night, pardon my French.
It's highly unusual, as it was in the 1985 case, that he should get personally involved as he did, right? And we know why. He's supposed to oversee the people who are deeply involved, like Wiegert, right? He's Wiegert's boss. He's supposed to let Wiegert run it and sort of keep his hands off-ish. As far as the vehicle, it's so ambiguous. I mean, it could be anything. I think it seems to me that it's well documented that the RAV showed up, sort of 3 hours ish, kind of late. I would tend to bet that it's some vehicle filled with what they think is important evidence that they want the crime lab to get on very quickly would be my guess. I highly doubt they're talking about the RAV when they say the vehicle. They're just generally talking about some truck.
No other vehicles have been seized.
No other evidence has been seized either.
No,
not
nothing.
They
took the RAV. They took the flatbed and the Grand Am were later that day. O'Neill and Baldwin didn't pull over Brian and Brendan until whatever it was, 11:30. I don't remember what time it was exactly, but it was later that morning, so it couldn't be that. And then the golf cart wasn't seized until like the 7th or the 8th.
After the crime dog, the scent dogs hit on it, right?
Yeah, yep.
Cadaver dog.
Right, and I looked at the search warrant file, and there's nothing there. So anyway.
Yeah, what? And then you go back and realize that Graffi wasn't called till he said mid-morning, but either way, it wasn't. Apparently, he didn't show up first thing in the morning like I had always.
No. Nope. He testified it was mid-morning when they called him.
Maybe Ertl meant 1:15 in the afternoon on the 6th, bro.
Yeah. I'm at a loss as to what they're talking about. Yeah, it'd be nice to know. You'd think, once again, you'd think that it was easily traceable through the various reports that require, tracing the evidence from one place to another. So if it's evidence, then it should be on the master evidence, right? There's a master list, right?
That's right.
Right, Joris has it like all in a spreadsheet, right?
We've got the ledgers in the spreadsheet, and that gets even more confusing. The ledgers do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got I posted this on TikTok, Reddit TikTok, and I posted it in the MAM sub as well. And I got a message tonight that was pretty interesting about some various things that were said by other people about the RAV. It gets even more confusing. So the search warrant file, let me pull that up right quick. And
Travis wants to know if you can play it one more time.
The call?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think.
That's up to.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, go for it. That's what he's asking for. I don't think anybody minds. We've only heard it twice before. It's only a couple minutes, so let it rip.
All right.
Hey, French Wrecking Crew. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. I don't recall. No, Billy, you're back. Nice to see you.
Yeah, the Packers won.
Oh, did they? Poor. Sorry to hear that.
It's preseason. It doesn't
matter. Sorry. Share my screen here.
Sometimes you can see Mike Hallbach on the sidelines if you know what you're looking for.
Right. Well, I've seen him on the report.
Here we go. One more time, guys.
Summer County Sheriff.
Hi, it's Jerry.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could call Schultz and Deer Halpham White was using for the search of the dogs.
I'm sorry.
Okay. What I need you to do is contact somebody. I'll let you make that determination.
Okay.
To follow a vehicle down to the crime lab in Madison.
Okay.
And that can be the jailer, that can be the dispatcher, that can be anybody who I have deputized that can just follow the vehicle so that we can log that it's down in Madison.
Okay. So, you want me to go?
Want to?
I don't care.
Quiet day?
Quiet day so far, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to, if Marie's in favor of it?
Marie's shaking her head, yeah, that is okay.
Okay. Why don't you, let's see, what do we got for vehicles over there? Joyce said she'll go, and I'm fine with that.
Looks like one marked here.
What's that?
Looks like one.
Hang on a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, make sure you get directions for going to the crime lab.
Okay.
So that you can know how to get down there. But there's one out there, or what do you got out there for vehicles?
I have one marked out here.
One marked?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're coming back with the transport vehicles, aren't they? Yes, they're coming back with transport.
Okay.
Bring one of the transport vehicles over.
Over to you? And then
over to our location here.
Okay. And then go to Madison.
And then follow this down to Madison, yes.
Okay. All right.
All
and
right.
in the meantime, I should get directions to the crime lab in Madison.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Get directions on the internet of how to get down there.
Okay.
All righty.
I'll wait for a transport squad and I'll be over.
Okay, real good. Thanks, Joyce.
Sure. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, there we go. And, immediately after this, I'm sure there's a call. She does call the crime lab. They give her directions, blah, blah, blah.
So my thought, and I just put it in chat, was, is it possible that it could be a vehicle that the crime lab has collected and it's full of evidence, but they need someone from this jurisdiction to follow down and sign off on everything that was collected? That it's not the car, it's actually what's in the car?
Wouldn't they just send in the car with a deputy, though? Anybody.
But they need someone from their jurisdiction to go down and sign it off.
Yeah, but they don't need see, like I said, like Jack said earlier, the tow truck driver is going to need some sort of accountability that he doesn't have. So but if it's just a car full of evidence, I would think they would just send it with a deputy
Yeah, that would go. That would go because they sent deputies numerous times with evidence in their car to the crime lab. That happened a lot. And to answer Travis's question, he said, "Who is Joyce?" Joyce is a dispatcher, but she's clearly a sworn deputy. And I don't know about Calumet. I'm guessing that not all dispatchers are sworn deputies, but I guess several of them are, and she was one of them. But she answers the phone quite a bit if you listen to the queso dispatch calls, Travis.
I think it's quite possible that it's an evidence, but I think you should be able to look at the master evidence sheet and see what date it was taken in to see what evidence there was.
Absolutely.
I think that's what Travis is saying. I think those are an excellent guess. It's possible that it is. Well, then we can just go and question that. Okay, go through the paces. What evidence had been collected at this time? Was there anything that they were sending down on the 6th that was not the RAV? That was something else?
Well, it would have been something that had been collected on the 5th, the evening of the 5th or the day, and on into the 6th. And as far as we know, the only thing that they took on the 5th of any consequence was the RAV, of course. And then we know that Cobra, Link, and Remaker went back in to Avery's trailer on around 7 o'clock that evening and took blood stains. They collected those. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was really found on the 5th. And nothing's really springing out at me. Not on the 5th. But let me pull up the search warrant file.
Why not the Grand Am, Travis? Because the Grand Am was seized in Crivets.
That's right.
Much later, even after this call we're talking about. Yeah.
12:15, the Grand Am and the flatbed were seized in Crivets.
Yep.
By Skorlinski. Okay, search warrant file. I'm going to pull this up and I'll share the screen. Okay.
So as soon as the RAV was found, they would have been granted a search warrant for sort of the immediate area. Could have grabbed whatever they want, right? They would have been hovering around the RAV and called in a search warrant and sort of got that turned around probably within a very short amount of time. So I don't know if that anything they would take, but I don't know what they would take.
Yeah, there probably were other, I'm guessing, minor things of consequence. You got the hood for that was leaned against the raft. Yeah, the Rambler hood. There may have been some other smaller items, but
the Rambler hood went with the RAV, right?
Well, the other call that I played also. Remember what Joyce was telling whoever she was talking about following the car to the crime lab.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand why they would need somebody to follow. If an authorized personnel was already taking a car full of evidence.
Yeah,
it's taken everything.
Numerous times we see evidence get handed off to someone that is going to make a run to Madison to the crime lab. It goes in their car and they just take it with them. That maintains the chain of custody. So Jeff, I've got the search warrant file pulled up here and shared. There you go. So if you look at this is what was filed, and you can do your own research. Oh damn, I went too far. My bad. Apologies. So we start here on the 5th. And then you move on. Another one on the 5th. Trailer, blah, blah, blah. And here's the 6th. Here. These two right here. Trailer with detached. This is talking about Avery's trailer. And then the second one is for Teresa's phone records. And that was submitted by Wiegert.
Wendy Baldwin.
Well, yeah, she wrote a bunch of them for sure.
They rejected her first one, so I know they had to give her first one because she didn't use the word exogen on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually in here that's written. And then we'll skip down here. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to bypass the rest of these because it moves on up in time. You can see the 7th and so forth. But I'm going to find the warrant. There's a bunch of these returns too. But I'll find the warrant for when they served up in Crivets with the Grand Am and the flatbed. I don't remember exactly where it's at. This is where they one for the bookcase. No, I don't remember exactly what page this is on. I think it's a little further down. Let me do this. And this way I'm not just scrolling. We'll find it quicker this way. This is it right here.
This is the one for the Grand
flatbed
Am?
and the Grand Am.
Oh, yeah. What was the cause? Should be the very first thing that says why they want it.
Yeah. Well, this is really terrible writing, or it's a terrible copy. Sheriff Poggle, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. It says this was written on the 5th, and upon vehicles located at Highland Drive. This is up in Crivets. And there's the two vehicles. Paperwork proving ownership, use of vehicles, women's clothing, including but not limited to blue jeans, a white button-down shirt and spring jacket. Teresa Marie Halbach, described as a white female. It says blonde hair, but I didn't think she had blonde hair.
Sandy blonde hair.
Property belonging to Teresa Halbach, including but not limited to camera, film, photographic equipment, electronic storage devices, forensic evidence, including but not limited to fiber evidence, blood, hair, saliva, semen, fingerprints, instrumentalities capable of taking a human life, including but not limited to weapons, firearms, ammunition. Basically a standard, I can't remember reading through this, it's just kind of a standard warrant that says, hey, this guy may have a bunch of stuff in his car or in that flatbed, and we need to take a look at it. And Wendy did write this one.
So they don't even really need to say in the search warrant why it's relevant.
When you're talking about his affidavit, which is probably this part right here.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I want to see. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. I think it's.
Can you go down with the next one? Number 3.
Yep.
Keep on going.
It's
not number 3.
Number 4, your affiant is informed on November 5. Officers received information from volunteer searchers that they had located a vehicle matching the description of the vehicle owned by Teresa Halbach at the Avery Auto Salvage. Got the VIN number. Investigator Remiker was able to confirm. ...
Even though Pam gave the wrong VIN, yeah, she was wrong on a couple of digits.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Number 5, your affiant received information that when Teresa Halbach was last seen, she was wearing blue jeans, white button-down shirt, and a spring jacket. Ken Skurlinski, da-da-da-da-da. Of course, they were up in Krivitz.
Yeah, I think Carol was asking, what is a spring jacket? Just a light jacket, maybe, barely thin cloth, but that was what was described on the flyer. That's what, was it Schmidt that had said
I think
that?
so.
That's
Schmidt.
I think,
almost word for word what he said. The button-down shirt, spring jacket. That's like word for word what Schmidt had told.
Lemieux.
Say Lemieux. Yeah, there. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Was it Lemieux that he told that to?
Yeah,
I think so.
Pretty sure.
She calls, for some reason, she calls Schmitz and she calls zippers, but she never calls Yonda. But
she never calls Yonda. That's weird.
Nobody does. It's so weird. Not Blowdorn.
It's like the opposite of
they call everybody else.
tunnel vision, right? It's like they're just trying to avoid that, right?
It's interesting, and I don't know if there's any connection whatsoever. I'm just going to say it, though. Remember, there's another call on the evening of November 5. It's like 7 or 7:30. It's in the key calls, by the way, Jeff. This Assistant Attorney General calls MTSO basically demanding Mark Rohr's telephone number, and he's in a huff. He's you can tell he was wired up. He's talked to Special Agent Skurlinski, and he needs to talk to Mark Rohr basically right now, demanding his phone number. Of course, they won't do that. They won't give out people's phone numbers like that.
Yeah. I remember him in this call. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, seeing his involvement, this warrant was allegedly written on the 5th. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making a connection. It's not there or not. Just interesting. Skurlinski was heavily involved in the case, though. That's for sure.
So I guess I didn't see what I thought. I seem to remember Millbilly. Maybe Millbilly remembers because maybe I saw it on his channel. I distinctly remember a picture of the Grand Am where you can really see the stain from the blood on the shifter, where Steven bled all over it because his cut got busted open. I can't find that. You got that picture? I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure I've got it.
And I had kind of thought that if the search warrant that we're looking at right now would have found very suspicious, like blood all over the Grand Am right shifter, because that would have been plainly visible, and I would have thought that they might have mentioned that in the affidavit.
Just a second here. I think we've got that photo. Not there.
Yeah, it came to the Millbilly came to the mobile crime lab first, right? What day did the mobile crime lab get there? Do you remember?
It got there on the afternoon of the 5th.
Oh, was it really that soon? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they checked everything in through that and logged it before they sent it out. Convenient that they got it, over to the salvage yard, right, near where it needed to be planted. Near where it needed to be.
Oh wait, could be some more here. I found one picture of the Grand Am, but it's not the one you're talking about. Still looking though. Still, wait a minute. Still scrolling. That's the front end. I think I got what you're talking about there. Sharing screen. Share that one there, Jeff. See if this is what Big Jeff's looking at.
There we go.
Is that what you're talking about there, Big Jeff?
Well, the picture I remember is taken from the other side. And I don't really see the blood.
There's two spots right there.
That's not the picture I remember. I remember seeing a lot more blood than that. But
nonetheless, Stephen is bleeding all over the place. There are multiple places that you could be finding blood.
Yeah. Well, I guess my point was that what I had asked is I would think that they had to give a good reason to take the Grand Am into custody, right? And from what I just read from Pagel, it actually doesn't seem like they need a really good reason. I would have thought that perhaps if they looked inside the Grand Am and they saw blood distinctly, and the picture I'm remembering there was blood, that would have been a good enough reason to take the Grand Am in. I guess I don't really understand what reason was sufficient to take the Grand Am in. And again, they continue to talk about Stephen Avery. So,
I mean, here's a photo in the crime lab and the flatbed.
I gotta get going, but on that, did they seize Stephen's pickup? They didn't, did they? Or did they?
No.
Okay.
Processed it on site.
Yeah. Interesting. So we can rule that out. I'm not following that to the ground.
It's very interesting that they just did that on site.
Yep. But the missing persons card, well, guys, we got to wait a couple days before we open that sucker up.
All right.
I think that this is all
from behind the magic. What was the gray vehicle that the dogs hit on November 6th? Gray vehicle.
The dogs hit on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I apologize. You're gonna have to get a little more specific because I don't remember that one.
I don't recall a gray vehicle either. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
There's the plates.
There's the plates.
I think these are trial exhibits, by the way. And I was thinking that the picture that Big Jeff was talking about was in this mix. There's another photo coming up here in a minute of the front of the RAV. I mean, not the RAV, but the Grand Am.
Grand Am.
Yeah.
They didn't seize the truck, but they took the Grand Am. Why? Good question, Case 10.
Yeah, I don't know.
That picture that they just showed had the truck right next to the Grand Am.
No, he talking about Avery.
Oh, the Ford F-50.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's another one besides this photo that I showed. I'm trying to think of where it's at. I'm drawing a blank.
All right. I think Brian's got to cut out. He's got some other things going on in his world. So I just want to say thanks for joining us there, buddy.
Absolutely.
See you, Brian.
See you later, buddy.
All right, yeah, I got to run, but I'll listen to y'all for a little bit. But it's been awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll see you on to the next time. In 2 weeks' time, guys.
Some more photos. I turned that off. There's some more photos. I'm just filtering through here, so I'm just not just scrolling on the screen.
Oh, absolutely. I'm with you.
No. Nope, not in there either.
Huh. Okay. Well.
He's got it at home. Okay. Maybe we can try next 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm definitely not going to be here. I'm going on vacation with the family.
Wow.
We're going out of the country, so I won't be around in 2 weeks.
Look, they have internet out of the country too. I'm just saying. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're going to Australia, Big Jeff.
Australia is definitely on my bucket list. I every time I talk to somebody who's been in there was a guy at work who just took his whole family down to they did a whole sweep of Sydney, and then they went around, to the whole South Coast and all. What's it called? The Gold Coast? Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah.
He loved it. He said, "Oh, it was beautiful. I am definitely on my bucket list. I can't wait." And Kel says she's going to take me out on her boat, and I'm going to come to your house and drink like a fish.
Yes. Bring it.
Sounds like
I saw that picture of your neighbor on Discord. He can stay home.
Oh, the neighbor that was watching everybody, Kel,
Yes.
as they're moving in, he's like standing there like at the curb with his arms crossed, watching people carry every box into their house. Come on, creepo.
I felt like opening up the front door and yelling, "Get inside, Peter." Jesus.
Can you put the affidavit in support of search warrant again, Jack, if you got it, per request of Travis?
Yes. Can you just which affidavit are we looking for? The one that I just had up?
Yeah, the one, the Pagel's affidavit that granted the seizure of the Grand Am and the truck. Flatbed.
Yep. Give me just 1 second here. Let me close that off.
Travis, I'm jealous. If you need any help, just sign me up. I'll be your law intern for that trip.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
Travis,
Travis,
Australia?
That's what he says. He's coming soon. So,
What?
get prepared.
Whereabouts in Australia are you going, Travis? You all need to come down to Australia, really.
The coming down part is easy. The going back up part is hard. I think that might be a dad joke. I don't know.
Definitely approaching it. Which part does what part do you want to see, Travis?
Yeah, he wants to see the part where Pagel. Yeah, there it is.
Go to 2, he said.
Must be 2 mean page 2? Does that mean page 2?
Or item 2.
Your affiant is informed that on November 3, 2005 at 5 p.m., Karen Halbach contacted the Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Halbach stated that her daughter, Teresa Marie Halbach, date of birth, had not been seen or heard from since Monday, October 31, 2005. Halbach said it was unusual for Teresa not to have had personal or telephone contact with her family or friends for this length of time. Halbach stated that her daughter was driving a 1999 Toyota RAV4, dark blue in color. I don't think that's what she said, though. Not really.
Paragraph 5, please.
Paragraph 5?
Travis is not bashful about asking what he wants to see, and I'm with him on that.
Your affiant received information that when Teresa Halbach was last seen, she was wearing blue jeans, a white button-down shirt, and a spring jacket.
Can you get me a spring jacket? Let's figure out what it is.
Jeff,
they're not actually made of springs, in case anyone was wondering. They're not actually made of springs.
No.
Jeff, I sent you some paperwork of everyone basically that wrote a description of what Teresa was wearing that day. It varies.
Okay, I can put that
up. It does.
Yeah, put that up because I think Bobby's is the way out there one. You know, compared to what the others said, like Schmidt and Joellen, sorry.
Is there an item 7 or is that it? I just want to make sure we've seen the whole thing before we go. From it.
No, there is an item 7. And the 6th one is the longest one, and it's pretty lengthy. I don't have to read it all. It's basically talking about Skorlinski spoke with Stephen Avery up in Crivets. Your affiant is informed that Investigator Skolinsky is working in conjunction with Detective O'Neill. The Merrimack County Sheriff's Department, Avery informed Investigator Skolinsky and Detective O'Neill that the vehicles listed in the search warrant were the vehicles that were driven from the Avery salvage yard, basically, earlier in the morning on November 5.
But what about 7?
And the 7, your affiant believed that based upon Teresa's lack of contact with her employer and family members and her vehicle being abandoned at the auto salvage yard, that Teresa Halbach is a victim of a crime including but not limited to homicide, sexual assault, kidnapping, false imprisonment, and theft. Didn't do a very good job of stealing, if that's what the intent was, because, well, it's just right there. Not behind in somebody's garage.
And that's enough to take somebody's vehicle, huh?
Well, apparently.
They're asking to take the Grand Am, which is currently in Crivets, and the tow truck and the flatbed into custody, right?
That's right. And they did.
Yeah.
This is the document provided by Kaff that gives us a rundown on what she was wearing and the difference of the descriptions. White button-down shirt with a summer jacket, and then blue jeans and then she was wearing darker waist length jacket.
Yep.
Joellen indicated it was blue jeans with a darker waist jacket and some sort of white top. And below we have blue jeans, button-down shirt, and spring jacket. So I guess a waist jacket and spring jacket could be interchangeable. I mean, we're pretty sure this is what she was wearing. She was wearing blue jeans with a button-down shirt with summer jacket. It changed from spring to summer.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it had blue jeans on, button-up white blouse, spring jacket waist length. So that we're getting both of them there. How did you say the jacket went? Was that she had on? I would say about waist length. It was like a summer jacket. So now it's back to summer jacket. And Joellen Zipper says blue jeans with waist length and some sort of white top. I think you get the point. Black coat, black trousers. So now, Bobby Dassey says black coat, black trousers. And she was wearing dark colored waist length coat. So we get waist length, we get spring, we get summer, we get white top, we get darker top.
But Bobby's just the funniest, really, because he says dark jacket, dark coat in the end with black trousers.
To be fair, though, if his story is what he says he's just seeing it in like, oh, there she is, and then I'm on to the next. You know what I mean? His head's turning already. Like, so he didn't have a discussion with her like the other people did.
Where he says black coat, black trousers, it's 06.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking at the same time he really wasn't paying that much attention to her clothing per se.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Of all these people, he's the one that didn't have a direct discussion with her, right?
Yeah.
So his description would likely be the least accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I think Travis is exactly. I mean, I can't. I don't notice what people are wearing.
Me either.
For me, I think
they got
he's
clothes
exactly
on.
right. Yeah, they have clothes on.
Yep.
Unless there's something over the top that you're like, oh my god, that ugly sweater was so ugly that no one. How could you not see it? You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah, that sweater's so ugly. That sweater's so ugly. I slapped your mother.
Gotta wear sunglasses around that one.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be something that like stood out for me to notice it, like like bozo shoes or some. Yeah, he's very young. I think he was coached.
Absolutely. Oh, I have a call. Just because we're gonna booze it a little bit. I'm having a drink, so I kind of want to have a good laugh, or not really a laugh. It's not a laugh. It's more of a, oh my god, not this again kind of thing. So I don't know if you're ready for this, but I'm going to give you...
Getting a call? Have you missed a couple payments on your car? Is that where you're getting a call?
Yes, this is a message. We've been trying really hard to reach you about your vehicle's auto insurance, your extended warranty on your vehicle.
The extended warranty, yeah.
Have you got those calls before?
It's the only calls I get.
I love this call just because it's just so ridiculous, and that is Deb Strauss. I'll give you guys.
Oh my God, help me.
Here we go.
Oh,
Here we go.
God.
Calumet County Sheriff's Department.
Yes, my name is Deb Strauss. I'm a special agent with the Division of Criminal Investigations.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I'm calling is I've done some past investigations on Stephen Avery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching the news and I'm seeing his name come up. And I'm wondering if there's anything I can offer to help you guys.
How do you spell your last name, Deb?
It's S as in Sam, Trauss.
And
I'm a special agent with DCI out of our Appleton office. And the other thing, and I don't even know if this is within my realm of authority to even offer, but I'm not a big fan of Steve Avery. If there's even something technical assist that our agency has that would benefit you guys.
Well, right now everybody is gone.
Okay.
I can put you through to Investigator Wiegert's phone. He will be coming in tomorrow. If you want to leave your name and where you're from and your phone number,
okay,
and a short message, then if he needs you, he could call you back tomorrow.
That sounds fine.
Okay.
I just need to, in good conscience, at least pick up the phone and make the call.
Okay, just 1 second.
She's getting involved with good conscience. She's like, I can't let this opportunity go past me. Oh my God, that call!
Did you play this fucking call to get me riled up?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Is there any? First of all, I mean, we know that Wiegert must have called her back because she's all over the place. She said she's DCI, but do we know? You know what? Remember what division of DCI she's from? White collar crime, right?
That's right.
The public integrity unit.
Wow.
If you can believe that.
Yeah, if you can believe that. Is there any doubt that she's Peg L's spy on this? And she's going to get involved. She's going to be reporting back to Peg L as to how bad, how safe her whitewash is. That's really what this is all about. That's why she's involved. Oh yeah, the whitewash is safe. It's getting ripped apart in the depositions, and it's making me look like a jerk if this ever comes out. This is sort of Peg's internal, my conjecture, opinion on what was going through her mind. But I need Deb to go be my, my spy and my fixer. Unbelievable.
Well, yeah, because why wouldn't she have, been along with the rest of the crew that got assigned the case? Like Fassbender and Skorlinski.
Yeah, because she's from the public integrity unit. The public integrity unit doesn't have any business investigating a murder. That's why she's not assigned.
That's right.
It's that simple. She's got all this time. There must not be a lot of corruption in Wisconsin. Maybe you people from Wisconsin can tell me if there's enough corruption there for the DCI corruption agency to be looking at it.
I'm going to tell y'all something else. As far as I know, there might be one other call with her voice, but other than that, and she was involved in a bunch of interviews, a bunch. But as far as I know, her voice is not recorded anywhere. And I've actually I've had an open records request in with the DOJ for over a year, trying to get recordings that she's in, and I'm having to wait. Basically, they just ignore your ass.
Quote by Kelly.
Speaking
Kelly,
of
Kelly. Not our friend Kelly. Kelly McGallion.
Our friend Kelly, she just arrived, so we might as well give her dues. Welcome, Kel.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome back.
I'm about to blast off like a rocket ship.
Yeah,
what I missed.
I played a triggering phone call to Big Jeff, and
he's triggered. He is triggered. The Deb Strauss call, November 4th, offering her services because She don't like Stephen Avery.
I don't like him.
Doesn't even know whether this is in the purview of what she's even legally enabled to do. But
so basically, she's saying, I'm not even sure if this is legal. Like, not in so many words. I'm not even sure if this is legal, but if it is, let me know. I'll lend you some whatever you need. I'll hold down the fort if you need me to.
He keeps on coming up on the news, right? Well, in what context has he been coming up in the news? People are going there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he was here. She was here." Right? That's right.
And where is she's a DCI agent, and we're supposed to hold these agents to a standard, right? And and that is, they should, in their minds, always understand that the suspect is innocent until proven guilty. Not, hey, is there anything I can do to help you get this guy? Because I don't like him. I mean, she says it right in the call. It's absurd. It's a shame.
Okay.
And she should wear this call with shame, like the scarlet letter that it is.
Think about the training she's had. She's doing this in the open, on a recorded line. She doesn't care. What
Can
does
you
that
put
say
up Kelly
about the training?
McGillian's comment? I'm sorry, Jack, to interrupt.
Oh, absolutely, no. I will. Great question. How was she involved with How was Deborah Strauss involved with Stephen Avery in the past?
Oh, go for it. Go for it, Big Jeff.
I am sorry you don't know the answer to this question, Kelly. I'm going to tell you the answer. It's the answer is that after Stephen Avery was released in 1985, the district attorney in Manitowoc County, who was Mark Rohr, asked the state DCI to do an investigation to determine. Asked the Attorney General to determine whether or not there was any wrongdoing in the case, any public malfeasance, if you will. So they basically launched an investigation from which a report was made. You'll often hear me call this report Peg Lautenschlager's whitewash. And the two agents that did the initial interviews to understand whether or not there had been any malfeasance were Deb Strauss and Amy Lehman. And Deb Strauss had basically just been deposed on the Avery 1985 case. You have the date handy, Jack, as to when that exact deposition was. But it was within a couple months of Teresa disappearing.
No, it was. Hers were
6 months, 8 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
Okay.
Deb and Amy were deposed on May 12th and May 13th, 2005.
So it's literally the same year, right? May, June, July, August, September, October. It's like 5 or 6 months, right?
That's
so
right.
6 months ago, Deb Strauss was sitting, getting deposed by Stephen's lawyers, and really, you should go back and listen to the call. Jack and I have done it on Foul Play, on one of the Reading with the Crews, and they were really making her look bad. They made her look like an idiot, pretty much, right? Because she did not go back. She did not go back and ask any reasonable follow-up questions, right? For example, let's take Vogel's comment that he went to Gregory Allen's parole officer and found out that Gregory Allen was actually doing something different. He was in Door County or something. So he couldn't have been there because his parole officer exonerated him. And we found out later that Gregory Allen hadn't even been in prison yet, so he had no parole officer. Did Deb go back to Vogel and say, well, why did you think that he had a parole officer when he'd not been in jail? Deb did no follow-up on questions like that. There was no intellectual curiosity.
Actually,
he said it, let it slide.
Actually, it's worse, Big Jeff, and you probably haven't seen these reports that in the Coleman v. Netflix case, there's an exhibit with a bunch of Amy Lehman's. I'm not going to say it's all of them, but it's a bunch of their reports that they generated in these interviews. And they contacted Allen's parole officer, and he said, I never said that. I was never contacted.
Well, he hadn't been in prison yet, so this parole officer must have been after, right?
Yeah, he said he was never contacted.
Yeah.
So it was just a big lie.
So
I mean,
this is just just Deb's failure to completely follow up on anything and just let anything slide that any of these law enforcement people said, oh, that doesn't matter. So, and she's doing all this, and literally 6 months later, on November 4th, she's calling up Wiegert and saying, now can I help? My ass. But just complete and total corruption.
Yep.
All right, I need to drink. That got me riled up. The only thing that's going to calm me down is alcohol.
Well, you got another case
Cheers to
of
that,
wine.
buddy. I will give you a big cheers to that. I got the 14-year-old Glenlivet. I haven't had a drink in years. And I don't know, Jack and I talked about having a drink on a live a long time ago. And so we finally just said, let's do it. It sounds like a good time. Let out the stress, let out the vibes. Let out the bad vibes. Let in the good vibes, right? So
yeah, I mean, Nan's life is so right. Keeps coming on the news, right? Of course, they're interviewing Stephen because he admitted. Why? If he was trying to hide something, why would he see? Yeah, he didn't. She didn't show up. I didn't see her. She took off. I wasn't there. Why even admit it? But he's honest. He says, "Oh no, she's there. She came. She left."
Yeah,
that's why the news is there. That's why the news is there.
Just your 5 minutes left.
all right. Well, the next thing on our plate is to talk about the little teaser that we've been mentioning. I will bring that up right now. Just a second. So, as I said, maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't heard. We were talking about one of these side projects that we're working on. And so maybe before I give too much, I'll just give you a little bit of a heads up as to what you're going to see is something that we're working on in the background. And hopefully we'll be able to give you a full episode in the next few weeks. But it's just something, a little mini series that we've been working on based on some research that kind of stemmed from Kel's research and has been kind of worked into some other research that a few of us have been looking at. So before I ruin the intro, why don't I just play it for you guys? And I really hope you enjoy it. I'm pretty excited about it. So with any further ado, here's the preview.
County Sheriff's Department.
Hi, I'd like to report a missing person.
Okay. And how long have you been missing?
Nobody's heard from her since Monday.
And where does this person live?
She's our daughter. She lives right next door to us. It's W3637 County D, Sobers.
And that's her address?
Right.
3637. And her name?
Teresa Halbach.
And your name?
Karen Halbach.
Okay. What relationship is she to you?
My daughter.
Okay. And how old?
She's 25.
Okay. Do you know where she was last seen?
She works for Auto Trader. They had gotten a fax from her on Monday at 10:31. They had texted her today, but they don't know if she got it or not. They haven't heard from her.
So, reactions?
Boom. Chaka laka laka.
I wish I had the skills to do something like that. That was great. It's enticing. You know, most. And when's the RAV4 discovered with regard to that 48-hour timeline? That call was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's after that. It's outside of that timeline, right?
That is what we're going to be counting down to. Let's see what happens. I know what happens, but you're all going to see. We're going to take you guys on a journey. We're going to show you. Again, I don't want to give too much away. It's something that I wanted to do for a while. I brought the project to a group and we had a discussion as a team and we decided we were going to put it together and see where we go with it.
What, did I just miss that? Jeff?
Yes.
You played it without me.
You were gone?
What?
Well, maybe we'll play it again for you, Kaff. I will make the video available to everybody shortly.
Were you going to get a drink? That's the only good excuse.
It's the only excuse to miss it.
I had to do a pee after having a drink. So does that count?
It counts. Continue on, Kel. Like you were saying, kind of put this together. Kind of cool idea that you had a long time ago, and then we just kind of we don't exactly know how many episodes it's going to be yet, guys. I wish I could give you a number, but we can't. We're still working on it. We haven't even completely enough to get something presented. I said in the next few weeks, but other than that, thank you for your comments so far. I like the feedback that we're getting.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I will disclose, and I think as a group, when we've made this decision, we just want everyone to know that this is not as so much going to be opinion based. What we're going to be presenting is going to be like a little doco series of its own, of pure facts of what we can support with documents, audios. We're literally doing a timeline for you and so we can all go on the journey together and count down that clock. And it's really amazing when you get to the end and the clock stops, where we're at and what moment the case begins, in a sense. But this is all part of the journey, and that's all I'm saying.
One of the things that I'm interested in when we do finally unroll and unravel and do our own research, because we're doing our own research as well, and that is kind of the questions. Maybe one question for you guys to think out there is, like, there's always this: did the cops have walleye vision, or tunnel vision only at Stephen from the beginning, or was the missing person case played straight, as they might say, played straight and then at what point did it change? And these are the questions I want to know the answer to. Very cool. Yeah, I spelled everything unlike the Daily Wire. I guess they misspelled some things in their work, so not always.
Maybe we should release our first episode on the 8th of September.
That's what Travis suggested.
That's a pretty good idea.
Oh, really? I can't see the comments. I'm driving. I can't see anything at the moment.
Travis said you have some copyright issues, but I'll keep you out of prison. So that's
really. Well, it's not called The First 48 Hours. It's called Teresa Halbach, The First 48, right? So it's not a direct theft. But the thing is it's beautiful is that it's for me, I think it's a model that people understand. It's something that people have seen, especially in true crime community. They understand how, like, oh, I get it through the it's important. I used some artificial intelligence and it told me a lot of really important facts about the first 48, and we're just really happy to unpack this all for you guys as time comes. It's gonna be so super cool. I'm pretty stoked.
I can't wait to see it. I kind of feel like the way around this other horrific docuseries that's coming out is to have the truther community do a reaction style video like we did. Therefore, that can get all the views, as opposed to Sean WRECK getting any views. So That's sort of my opinion on how it ought to go. I'll happily watch, knowledgeable truther community just dissect it, as opposed to, the constant stream of lies and mistakes and whatever crap they're going to put in there. So
even the spelling mistakes. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm glad that you guys are, send your feedback on what you think, and we'll try to give you some more, maybe some clips or something along the way to keep you to wet the whistle, as they say, to keep you happy out there. So we really appreciate your support. But that's coming down the pipe, and we're just really stoked. And man, we've been wanting to tell. I've been personally wanting to say something for a while, but it's all in due time, right? You got to wait for the right moment. And I thought today was the perfect moment. So thank you guys for letting us share that. And I hope you're as excited as we are. With that said, does anybody have any comments in general about that or anything to say before we move on?
Excited to see what the team comes up with.
I think that, we've played so much in the sandbox of, what do you want to call it? We're so far past, when Making a Murder came out, documents came out. Many other people have worked on a timeline and tried to write it down. And as someone that has been around, like Big Jeff and so many others, Kel and so many others, the story is so complicated to me personally. To try to, I could probably do it, to just sit down by myself and start going through, but I probably would end up quitting because there's so much material involved, number one. And this putting in, now we can do actually a better job because we know so much more now than we did, 5 years, even 2 years ago, we know so much more. So maybe it's better that something, we certainly still don't have the full story, but I think we're getting much closer to it. That's all I got.
Well, we were digging around with that trailer that came out with Convicting, and Kaff kind of found some stuff. Kaff, do you want to walk us through this?
Yeah, no, I didn't find it. I think originally Darkside sent it to Jinx, and okay. It's a report from a Wendy.
You mean to bring you want to start with the screenshot from the?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start with that. So we're going to switch into this thing from Convicting a Murderer's opening little preview that they released. So this is a screenshot that was taken from. Is that correct, Kaff? This is a screenshot that was taken from that preview.
I'm not sure. I'm guessing so, but I just saw it there, and
pretty sure
no one could work out who Wendy was. And then, of course, I went in my research mode and found who Wendy was, and then a little bit followed from there. So
who is Wendy then? Why don't you tell us?
Well, I worked out it's Wendy A. Paider, Paider.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that was October the 9th, 1977.
When there is so it says reports that Stephen Avery is threatening her. Now, this is taken from the Convicting a Murderer preview that was just released, and so this is something having to do with Stephen's previous record that is really probably irrelevant to the case, and that's why no one's ever presented it before. But Convicting is apparently going after something that happened in, what do you think, 1983 or 77? What year do you think that was?
This is October the 9th, 1977.
Okay, yeah.
So it's before. It's before a lot of stuff. Where
Stephen was born in what, 1963?
62.
62. So 77. He's 15 years old.
Yep, that's the one. It's be a juvenile record.
Right.
So anyway, this is so what is important about this is that she's saying that Stephen had done these things, shoot out her window and yell and threatening her. But it gets really interesting when we find out who her husband was.
Well, then there's a newspaper clip. So put that up. Engagement is birthday occasion. It's got Wendy Ann Pater.
Yeah,
And look who she's engaged to.
So this is Wendy. Oh, let me get that up right now. Try to zoom in for you guys.
What is the driving age in Wisconsin? Could you have driven when you were 15 years old in Wisconsin?
Not
with a 90 days before your birthday.
Maybe
with someone with you.
Yeah, if you get the learner's permit, yeah.
Mm.
And back in '77 or whatever, I don't even know.
And he's got to drive her off the road on a learner's permit.
Well, it could be 77. There was anyway. So here we go. And then this article says, Kaff, that Ron Pater of Two Rivers announces the birthday engagement of his daughter Wendy Pater to Ronald D. Fenkel.
Yeah, so Ronald was the one that got put away for the murder of Deborah Strauss, who claims he was set up and he's innocent.
That's pretty wild, isn't it? It's pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Who would have thought that connection there?
This woman that's accusing Stephen of whatever that was, that incident report we had shown, was married to the guy who killed Deborah Strauss.
Yeah, and then put up the next one.
Okay.
It is
Deb Strauss, whose body was discovered by the person who was searching with Pam of God when they found the phone.
And parts of her were found in the quarry, right? Was that the Manitowoc quarry? Yeah, that she was discovered in. What's the next one, Kaff? A Two Rivers man convicted? That one?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and read that out.
A Two Rivers man convicted in Manitowoc County Court Branch 2 for reckless use of a weapon was sentenced to 60 days in the county jail. Ronald Fenkel, 22, who presently is serving an indeterminate term of not more than 6 months in the county jail for burglary, must serve the 60-day sentence consecutive to the term, Judge Mueller directed. According to the complaint on the weapons charge, Fenkel accused a woman of spreading rumors about him, and on December 5th said he wanted to talk it over with her in his apartment at Two Rivers. She was spreading rumors about him.
Yeah, I know. Does that sound familiar?
Sounds so familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
Eerily familiar, right? Is it the last one, Kaff?
Huh?
Is that the last one, the last slide that you had?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
I think that's it. Yeah. Cool. So that's just a weird little connection that I think it's quite interesting anyway. Another rabbit hole. Exactly. Yeah, another rabbit hole. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
But just the coincidences keep on coming, right? Because it was indeed, I think, John Campion who found the body of Deb Strauss, and it was John Campion who was searching with Pam of God when they discovered the AudioVox cell phone.
Wow. Those connections are just like, it's too much, you know.
Come on, Big Jeff. Come on, partner. There are no coincidences.
Yeah, what I was like asking was, Vogel was all over the Ronald Fenkel case, and so obviously he worked in Manitowoc then, and then Vogel's all over Teresa Hallbuck case because he's working in Calumet, right? Is that what happened with him?
No,
Vogel?
No, he moved. No, he left his post as DA in '86 and moved out and went into private practice with some firm. They moved.
Right, but originally he was from Manitowoc because he's
yeah.
He's all over the.
It was the DA, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just found that weird.
Yeah, it is.
She was originally the first one to make a complaint against Stephen for what we can find. Like Cal said, it was juvenile report, but she was before Sandra Morris.
You know what else is weird, Kaff? How he seems to be all over this sort of violence against women with this guy. I can't even pronounce his name right. But when it comes to Gregory Allen, who who got naked on the beach and grabbed a woman, he knocks down those charges. How do you explain that?
Yeah.
I'd also like to know if it was indeed 1977. How did they get a juvenile record? Those are sealed.
Well, it could be 83. That's the other thing, is that there's a October 9th. Was that November 9th or October 9th? We looked it up. There's another one in 83, I believe. So it could be 83. Because that document says on it, I still got it here. All we know is October 9th. We actually don't have the year on that document. So it could be October 9th of 83, I believe. It's 77, 83, and then I think 2005 was another one. October 9th had a, because it says Sunday, I think. Where's the day? It says right here.
Yeah, it is a Sunday.
It says Sunday on the document. Sunday, October 9th. Well, there's only so many in a 20-year span. Sunday, October 9th, and the 3. So it could be 83 actually, which would make him, which would make it 2 years before 85, which is maybe more likely, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Could be.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I find it really weird. And, Ronald also said that he was set up, maybe not by law enforcement, but by another guy from a bikie gang.
Yeah, he
He
accused
still
the
claims he's innocent. I know, just the stories sound familiar.
It does. It sounds very familiar. It's very interesting.
And how does Stephen know her, and why is he doing that to her if that's the case?
I guess we don't really know, what the story was.
I know, it's interesting though, that's all. I just find it interesting.
Like they were mistaking his identity for Gregory Allen around that time too. Like they could have just been mistaking. He's been mistaken for Gregory Allen before. You know what I mean? Maybe because that sounds like Gregory Allen stuff. That kind of violent behavior. I'm not saying that that's what it was, but
what was the complaint again? That he just got pissed off at her and told her he was going to run her off the road.
Yeah.
Or was this because they're always trying to make Stephen look, violence against women and more than that, sexual violence against women. I didn't draw any sexual connotation out of that charge.
No.
So they're always trying to make Stephen look rapey.
Running her off the road, like he's going to run her off the road, shoot at a window. He yells and threatens her when she is walking down the street, and when she's at a friend's house, he follows her and waits outside. So to be doing that, if that's the case and what she's saying is true, he must know her, because he's definitely not going to be following her and waiting outside any house for her, because that's, number one, just super creepy.
Well, and the other thing is, like, she's sure it's him. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
If we could get a case number, we could look at the compilation of record, because I just pulled up this compilation that I've got, and it only goes back to 2005. It doesn't go anything prior to that.
But, basically, if you'd change her name from Wendy to Sandra, that's why I'm looking at it.
It really is interesting.
What about that address? What's that address?
That address is 4112 18th Street in Manitowoc.
How close is that to ASY? Any idea?
How close is that to Sandra Morris?
Yeah, right.
Oh my God. Yeah, obviously not that far. It's Manitowoc, isn't it?
How old was Sandra Morris in 83? Anybody want a quick math? Any Rain Men out there?
I'd have no idea.
I'm going to guess
around 24. Around this woman's age, Wendy, that might know Wendy. Saying the same story about Stephen Avery. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what if she's friends with someone that, and they're all kind of making up these allegations against Stephen? I don't know. I mean, We've heard from Al saying they were always picking on Steven. So I don't know if that's you know what he's talking about when they're always accusing him of stuff when it's not him picking on him. I don't know what that means, but
so my recollection is also that Stephen Avery dropped out of high school. Is that correct?
I'm not sure about that. But you know, there's also that other report, Marcel. She seems to think that when that young girl was being kidnapped or whatever, she was straight on to the cops to say, like, she believes she saw Stephen there. It's like they're always trying to pinpoint Stephen at, you know, it's like he's got this group of women that are just after him.
well, that's what I guess my point is. Like, does Wendy know Sandra? Does she hang out in the same group of people? You know what I mean? Because then it would really start to. Then we would see the pattern and why they're, you know, because they're all kind of going and using the similar story. But then again, like, we don't know what the legitimacy to these claims are. Did this happen and it wasn't Stephen? Was it Stephen? We don't know. But
I have got Wendy Pater living at the same address as a Has Schultz. And I'm pretty sure that he does know some of the Has Schultz because there's a photo of him under the car when he first got out, I think. And there's a Has Schultz there. Is it Deborah? Is that
I'm not
her
sure.
last name or the guy she's with?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Let me have a look.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, cool and fun stuff. See, we'll check chat. Anything going on in chat? Who shot Stephen shot JFK too? Yep. Well, I mean, I think he was like 6 years old then, so it's unlikely, but
no, he was 1 year old.
Yeah, I've got a newspaper clipping. So Stephen's underneath the car, and Dawn Has Schultz is there with a Robert Brooks. And Wendy's lived with the Has Schultz family as well, so maybe that might be their connection.
Well,
friends of friends or whatever.
You have to keep digging. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. It's probably a rabbit hole, but I just found it interesting. It just sounds awfully familiar. And
I would really like to know
before Sandra
if we could connect Wendy to Sandra Morris, because that would, to me, like, it would galvanize the claim that this was just kind of the same group of friends kind of going after Stephen. That would be interesting to me. Other than that, and then, of course, like Jack said, we don't have the actual case ID number on this slide. We don't really know where this originates from. Why wasn't it charged? Was it determined frivolous and not followed up on? You know, we don't really know the details of it. So at this point,
but I only came across it yesterday or something, so I can probably do a lot more digging.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do my Alice in Wonderland and jump down that hole.
Kaff, you're scary.
I know. You know, I'm having a drink, Jeff, because we made this pact 2 weeks ago.
Put yourself on screen. Put yourself on screen so we can see it.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? I'm like in my pajamas drinking red wine.
Oh, are you kidding me? That'll bring the views up to like 50,000 views.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Jeff's subscriptions go down to like under 50.
Everybody's going to be jumping ship. Is that what
I
you're
haven't
saying?
got a webcam. I'd have to get on my phone, and it's all too technical at the minute.
Maybe next time after we can get gussied up.
Yeah.
What are you having? Tell us what. Did you put some Baileys in your coffee?
No, I'm drinking red wine. It's called 19 Crimes: The Uprising. I thought.
Oh, I have. I get some of that. Yeah.
19
nice.
crimes.
Straight to my head.
I think there were at least 19 crimes committed by law enforcement in this case.
That's what I mean. That's why the wine was fitting for the occasion.
Yeah, and that was just on the 5th.
Some people think it might have been the 31st too, but that's only opinion.
Kelly, you still with us? Or are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a couple more calls I can always play. I don't know if I have any other topics. I think we kind of covered a lot of stuff today. You guys got anything else you want to?
Can't someone ask a question from the viewers?
Yeah, we can do questions. Let's do questions for a bit, at least. If you guys have anything, questions about anything, and if you want, we can watch the trailer again because you were gone, Kaff. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I do want to do that.
Maybe we can. We can end the show on that note.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see.
All right, let me pull that up again here. Yep, absolutely. Good find the right one though. Let's see. Yeah, always some technical thing going on. Here we go. So maybe we will end on a bang here. Let me get this. So many clicks. I got to click all over the place. Clicking here, clicking there, clicking everywhere. Here we go. All right. Are you ready, Kaff?
Sure am.
Right. Here we go. Teresa Halbach, the first 48 preview. Here we go.
County Sheriff's Department.
Hi, I'd like to report a missing person.
Okay. And how long have they been missing?
Nobody's heard from her since Monday.
And where does this person live?
She's our daughter. She lives right next door to us. It's W3637 County D, Silver.
That's her address?
Right.
3637. And her name?
Teresa Halbach.
And your name?
Karen Halbach.
Okay. What relationship is she to you?
My daughter.
Okay. And how old?
She's 25.
Okay. Do you know where she was last seen?
She works for Auto Trader. They had gotten a fax from her on Monday at 10:31. They had texted her today, but they don't know if she got it or not. They haven't heard from her.
Wow. That's exciting. That's really good.
It drags you in, I'll tell you what. You definitely want to see what comes next.
Yeah, I know it does, right?
Yeah.
Even though you kind of know what comes next, right? Even though you know what's coming next, right? We know what happens in the timeline, but yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that.
I think there's a lot of details in the timeline that people know and just haven't really sat down and taken the time to really put it in order.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That was my goal. Put it all together. So
it's like different to reading it on paper to actually watching a show. So I prefer to watch like a YouTube.
Yeah, visual learner, right?
Yeah,
as opposed to yeah.
Visual is always better if possible.
Pity we don't have something for the fourth.
What do you have, Jack? Okay. What drink are you sipping on?
Well, there could be some salted caramel whiskey.
Oh,
and and some
Back up
coke
a bit. Salted
and a splash of
caramel.
Coke and a splash of Coke. I don't know. You know,
What? Salted
Because it wasn't
caramel
sweet enough.
Coke.
it's
I don't think the Coke would go.
salted caramel whiskey.
That would go good with ice.
Yes.
Well, that too. I said a splash of Coke, like, you know,
A splash.
Yeah.
waved the bottle
like
over
Mr.
the top
Howell,
of it.
like Mr. Howell used to spread the perfume sprayer when he wanted his martini dry.
Oh no. Everyone's asleep here. Like they're going to get up and I'm going to stagger out.
Well, Kaff, you got to tell them. It's like I've always said. If you want to drink all day, you got to start in the morning.
Oh, one thing I wanted to add about the 48-hour project, and that is we're going to do a live after every premiere. And so we come to the realization that we're not going to be able to include everything, right? And we're also kind of angling from the Teresa Halbach angle, right? So it's not really about Stephen in this one. It's really about Teresa Halbach as a missing person and the victimology and that kind of angle from it. So there's like things going on in the background, like phone calls that are also happening in Stephen's lives or happening in Brendan's lives or happening in the peripheral. But and that's what the lives are going to be for us to like address that other stuff there. So I hope that you guys are ready for the premieres and for the lives following. So I just wanted to clarify that up, and I think it will leave for some really fun lives. Cinnamon whiskey, huh? Cinnamon whiskey. Who's drinking cinnamon whiskey? Fireball. Very cool. Well, you guys got anything else? You guys want anything else you want to throw around? Throw around the ball in the backyard? Or are you guys feeling more party-ish or more peck-ish? Or what are you feeling-ish? How you guys doing?
I've gone full party mode.
Kaff's in full party mode.
Yeah.
Well, at some point, Jeff, I want to do the call on the where they're trying to get the GPS working. We should do that. We should plan that at some point.
Maybe we should do that on the next one. You know what I mean?
No, let's do it now.
No, not now. That's going to take a long time. You can do a preview now, but
we could do a preview and talk about it. If I can dig up, maybe Jack can probably find it faster than I can. Maybe. Well,
what are we looking for?
You want to tell them about it, Big Jeff? Tell them what the call is.
Yeah, this is a call where they're at. So back in the 2005 timeframe, right? There was a law passed. So it would have been passed like in 2003 or 2004 that if you dial 911 from a mobile phone, the mobile operators are required to link that in with the police dispatch in such a way that sort of a dot comes up on their screen. Let's just put it as simple as that. That reflects the position of that 911 call within so many feet. I'll have to look and see exactly what the law required, but it's probably pretty small. It's probably on the order of 100 feet. So that police can respond to that call, and since it's a cell phone, and in the days of the landline, it was easy. You get a call from a landline, you go to the house, and you're within 100 feet of the call. But for a mobile phone, right, you get a call, a 911 call, and you could be anywhere outside. So it's important for the police to not have to search for an emergency. So the law required the mobile operators to put this dot up within. I'm pretty sure it was 100 feet. Maybe it was 200, but it's certainly on the order of 100 feet. And this call is them trying to get that to work. I think at Calumet. So it's pretty interesting because the police are getting all excited. Oh yeah, that's pretty close. And the woman who's working for the cellular company is like, oh shit, no, that's not good enough, because she knows that the answers that they're getting aren't close enough. So that's kind of the nature of the call. I've heard a lot of speculation about what that call is and what can be done and what can't be done. I think there's some pretty interesting ties to the Idaho 4 there. because you begin to get some insight on what the mobile operators can actually do. Because when you dial 911, you know, you're saying, okay, I don't care what you do to my phone. You can reveal anything you want about the location of my phone. My phone's fully cooperative. You can do all sorts of stuff to it. I mean, it's not like literally in the law as sort of flippant as I'm saying it now, but so you're sort of revealing, and that goes to the fact when the police have a subpoena and they want to get to your phone. There's a lot of tea that your phone is going to spill on you, right? Especially regarding its location, what tower it's currently hooked up to. You can geolocate it pretty well given other towers. And when you're under active surveillance, the amount of information that can be extracted from your phone, and we know from the Idaho 4 case that Koberger was under active surveillance on his drive from Washington back to Pennsylvania when he was stopped twice by the police, and the FBI were sort of talking to, oh yeah, we need a better picture of his hands, right? So they had the second officer stop him for some whatever reason, so they could get in there with a body cam and get a better picture of Koberger's hands. So it wouldn't surprise me, for example, if he might have, for example, dumped the knife on that trip, if they didn't have traces of his, where exactly his phone was, because he was under active surveillance, no doubt in my mind. And the type of information that they might have been able to get, I would bet they had team scouring. So there's a lot of interesting ties to different cases, and we can, if you guys want, talk about what is really possible, when you're under active surveillance as compared to what the limited amount of information that you have days after the fact from a report from Singular Wireless. So I thought that would be an interesting call to do. We'd have to do the whole thing. We do some of it.
Oh, but I think in 2 weeks you're not going to be here, right? You said you're going to be on vacation, so it's not.
That's right. So it have to be a month from now. Yeah, 2 weeks.
A month from now, after that. So, I want to talk about the Utah 4, or is it Idaho 4?
Idaho 4.
Idaho 4.
But there's also the Gilgo beach murders that I'm really just kind of locked into right now. I found that one to be very captivating. I would love to talk about that one sometime. That is quite the story.
Yeah, Big Jeff, there's about what you're talking about. There was at least a day, it may have been even 2, for Calumet. They were doing all that, what you were talking about, trying to get this GPS system nailed down.
Yeah.
And there are a number of calls. I actually think it went on for at least 2 days till they finally got it pretty much ironed out. A number of calls that were coming in, and they were doing these tests and so forth and so on.
Yeah, that would be, people are interested. We can talk about it. I mean, it can get pretty technical. And we see people chiming in. Yeah, talk about the other murders, right? Nobody wants to talk tech. I get that. So we'll try and keep it as interesting as we can.
Keep it as
Delphi, the guy convinced. He confessed, right? This Delphi guy confessed to his wife on one of the jail calls, right?
He did, but they're trying to throw it out because of mental
anguish,
stress and anguish, and the defense is trying to put it forward that he wasn't in the right frame of mind, so they're trying to get it like a squashed confession.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. The Long Island beach murders is the same as the Gilgo, is the same as the one I was talking about.
I think so.
They just arrested him. It is a fascinating story about how they caught him, and on a pizza box, like they used pizza crust. He threw away a box of pizza and pizza crust in there, and they got his DNA off of that. They matched it to a familial DNA in the system, and that's something that I want to bring up at some point. I guess I'd touch on it really quickly, is the familial DNA that has been just like changing kind of DNA in the last 10, 15 years, where people have uploaded their DNA into Ancestry.com or another one of these sites.
23andMe.
23andMe, and they would through that, law enforcement uses the DNA from a crime scene and makes a familial connection. So it's like we don't know who, we don't know who the criminal is, but we know they're related to this woman, and we know someone related to this woman who put her, DNA in the system, and they can use that as a starting point these days. And so it's like even if your DNA is not in CODIS, they have other ways of getting to you. And what made me think about that is if you do believe in a planting scenario in this case, then what's the odds that law enforcement got some of their own DNA on a thing? Well, you'd never be able to find that because law enforcement doesn't have to put their DNA into the system. However, in this case or another case, if they were to find DNA and say, oh, well, it doesn't come up through our CODIS system, it may come up through a familial DNA search, and they might be able to find someone that they're related to. So this is like really kind of cutting edge law enforcement that I'm kind of excited about.
They found that the murderer from what was the name of that murderer from California? I mean, he must have been in his 80s that they reached, and they got him a couple years back, right, because of this familial DNA.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
was it the something strangler? I can't remember.
I can't remember that one particular, but I know that it's been like it's been doing a lot of damage. Well, not damage, but good justice, I should say, that we're coming to using it. I can look that up. Maybe California. You said he was older, huh?
It wasn't Zodiac, no, but it was
the Hillside Strangler.
No, it wasn't BTK either. It was Golden State. My bad, Golden State something.
D'Angelo, Joseph James D'Angelo.
Yeah, that's sounding familiar. Well, what was his his nickname? Golden State.
Golden
something.
State Killer.
That's all. Yeah, right. Yeah, and he was a cop, right? Yes, exactly, Becca Shue. Yes, the retired cop.
She got it. Yeah.
Imagine how cops can actually kill people. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, I mean that's I mean that kind of comes to the point of the end around that I was making. Like even law enforcement, they're not immune to their being caught, and I think that's something you have to think about. If we're talking about a case in 2005, there's no way law enforcement could have ever planned on that. They're going to be like, well, yeah, even if they get my DNA, I'm not in the system, But now you don't have to be in the system, and that would have never been known in 2005. There's no way you would have ever known about this kind of technology, and you wouldn't have been able to prepare for it. I'm just saying, I don't think it could lead up to anything, but
I'm not laughing at you, Jeff. I just read these comments, and some of them are just so funny. Drafted the Golden State Goomba. I've laughed at a couple of them. Nan's Life had a good one about 15 minutes ago. They're funny.
That is a good one. Well, I guess we're at the 3-hour mark, so why don't we give everybody a last chance to say their piece, and starting with Jack. We'll go to Jack, and we went through a lot today, buddy. We'll be back in a couple weeks to do it again. But I'll give you a wrap up here.
Well, yeah, just a quick one. I mean, I think that I'm this call that that I ran across again, that just re-listening, just going through old shit again. That's piqued my interest, and I think it's a real problem. I don't know what can be done with it, if anything. Certainly nothing at this point, but if it ever came to some kind of new trial or whatever, who knows? Maybe it's worth something. I don't know. Yeah. Certainly, I would like to have a concrete answer, but I think we really have one. I just don't know what else it can be except for the RAV4. I just don't. I've tried.
Well, what about the idea of being another vehicle full of some evidence pieces?
Well, they don't. I mean, they haul evidence, like pieces of evidence, in they put it in their trunk or the back seat or whatever.
Okay.
And they take it. They wouldn't put it. I mean, I don't know of any situation where they.
Well, I guess my question is, what if it's the state crime lab's van, and they've collected evidence, and then the state crime lab is not actually the ones who are, so they have to have someone drive down there and
No.
sign it off.
Well, if they're, they have sworn people too that they wouldn't have to be followed. They're entrusted with that.
It's peculiar as hell. It certainly is.
It is, and then of course the follow-up calls that are basically 30 minutes later or so, 35 minutes later from concerning Marie being doing what she's doing and so forth. I don't know. I just think it's really interesting, and I'd like a concrete answer, knowing right now that I'm probably never going to get one. That's the reason I threw it out to the community. Hey, if you got something, please let me know, and we'll clear it up. If not, then I guess it's just going to remain. We can't really call it a man miracle, but I guess it kind of qualifies as a little bit of a miracle.
Is it an anomaly? Is it an anomaly? We're going to have another episode of anomalies.
Certainly. Anyway, it's been a great episode, and with the teaser trailer is really good, and hey, on to the next.
On to the next, Kaff.
Next case of wine. I'm kidding.
Next case of wine, Kaff.
No, not the next case. I don't know. Thanks, everyone, and appreciate you all. Great episode, and great preview for the 48 Teresa Hulbert hours. Sorry, wine's gone to my head. Oh, that's all I've got.
No, this was the plan to get a little boozy, as they say. So
I know, but why can't it be my Friday night, not my Saturday morning? It's hilarious.
Kind of a hard time to get started there.
Yeah. Oh, it's sunny today. I'm heading it's going to be a great day for me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy it, and as you have some sun in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Well, thank you, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks, and we'll pick it up from there, huh?
Yeah, we're not drinking again in 2 weeks, are we?
I don't think I will be, no. Well, Big Jeff will be on vacation, so he'll be drinking. He just won't be drinking with us.
Big Jeff needs to get his butt down to Australia pronto.
So this is a good date and time to write down, because how many episodes did we do? 40 something overall?
Oh, something like close to 80.
80? Was it really 80 episodes?
It's 30, 47 in the second season, and gosh, I want to say 30 something in the first one. So it's close to, yeah.
Okay, so this is the first time in almost 80 episodes that I haven't been called on first to wrap it up. So write this day down. So I did not have to give a summary of the episode.
How did that happen? I guess on to the next is just kind of loosey-goosey here. You know what? You know what it is? It's alcohol. That's what it is.
It's Big Jeff Hapui is what it is. It's Jack number one, Big Jeff Hapui.
Can we back it up? Let me review. Okay, guys. Put in the tape, hit rewind. Big Jeff, you want to lead the wrap-up comments for me?
Yeah.
Big Jeff needs to go first.
No, it's always a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun.
I completely skipped over Kel that 1 week. So
and I remember that week. And so does Kel. She's got that date and time written down in her little book. And she often references that little book. Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget that, Jeff, when you forgot to say wrap-up comments for Cal, which was just sitting there and you just breezed straight past her.
Okay, guys, see you next time. And she's going, what?
I wasn't just sitting there. I was writing Jeff Jones's next 48.
That's the ultimate being ghosted, with the person sitting right there with you, and you just see ya, we gotta go, bye. I thought maybe Kel had messaged you she was doing something and just go on, but no.
No. You followed me, Jeff.
I wasn't even drinking that today.
No.
So thank you for having me on the panel. I hope that people watch because they enjoy the chemistry that the panel has. I think we have some really good chemistry. I think we, complement each other's skills and knowledge. So I hope that's what people like about it. Looking forward, as everyone is, to seeing more on the first 48. With regard to the call, I encourage anybody to dig in deeply to anything that they find suspicious, because it sort of teaches you how to do research, or it helps clarify or not, and it makes you wonder what the hell really happened here. You should not leave any stone unturned, because you just never know what it's going to lead to. So I strongly encourage it. Call up the people who've been around. If something's bugging Jack, it's bugging me too. So that's easy to say. But I don't have anything definitive. I don't really know what that was. In my business, when we have to deliver, when we move sensitive information from one place to the next, we use something called two-person integrity. So we abbreviate it TPI. Like maybe you're couriering a classified document, for example. Very often you need to use, this two-person integrity scheme, so that if one person were to go afoul, the other person is there to set them right. That's not uncommonly used in government situations, but I really have not heard in this case of anything requiring two-person integrity. So I'm not really sure why a cop had to be there. That would mean sort of a non-deputy had to be doing the driving. I don't know why that would be. Maybe you need some class of license that's not available to a police officer. It boggles the mind what went on there. So yeah, it's worth it to try and figure out, and it might turn out to be a rabbit hole or nothing, or it might turn out to be something. So we should keep on looking, keep on digging. That's what this case is all about. So with that, thanks everybody. It was good. I got a lot of kicks out of what was said in the chat. Some people really posted some funny comments, and those are always good to read. So hopefully you enjoyed doing this with us, and on to the next.
Well, thank you very much, Big Jeff, and that's it for. I'm just kidding, Kel. Kel, if you
you're cruising for a bruising, friend. Cruising for a bruising. Listen, I don't really have much to say. I came in I started the beginning. I think I was around for 20 minutes. I'm coming. I've probably been here for another 30. I don't even know the content of what you guys spoke about, but I'm sure it was amazing. Yeah, that's it. Later.
Jeff, you need to play the POG music before everyone leaves.
Big Jeff,
it's been requested.
Big Jeff, do you have that? I think maybe I have. I think I have something.
I'm trying to find something good. Oh my God.
Did you hear that or no?
Come on, Big Jeff.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes. The pressure is on.
Oh.
You got it, Big Jeff? I got something. Let's see if it's as good. We'll try. How about that? Is that a good one or not good enough for you, Big Jeff? Do you need the actual one? Well, I don't know. It looks like maybe Big Jeff's having technical difficulties over there. Appreciate everybody coming in and checking it out. I am going to release that video of the preview to the members first shortly, so people who are members of the channel get a little preview, a little time to see it first, and then you'll all be able to view it in the next couple days. I will put that out into the public, and Plan to release some more clips as we go. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Really stoked about today. It was a lot of fun. I hope to see you guys back again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow a lot. With that said, for Big Jeff and Kel and Kaff and Jack and for Brian, this is Jeff Jones saying this has been On to the Next.
Toodaloo.